Chapter 514. After breakfast, Su Qing-sang sat with old Master Li for a while, then used the bathroom as an excuse to hide and call Hu Jinyao. Today was old Master Li's birthday. She wanted to see if he could make it. When Hu Jinyao didn't show up last night, she knew that he wouldn't be able to make it. She believed that he had important business matters to attend to since he didn't return to Lin City with her to celebrate old Master Li's birthday. However, she still hoped that Hu Jinyao could rush over at the last minute, although she had already guessed that Hu Jinyao might not be able to leave. Su Qing-sang couldn't hide her nervousness when the call was connected. Jinyao, wife, I was so busy yesterday that I forgot to call you. I'm fine. Even through the phone, Su Qing-sang could hear the hoarseness in his voice. Jinyao, are you okay? I'm fine. Hu Jinyao sounded more energetic than before. Honey, I'm afraid I can't come to celebrate Grandpa's birthday. It's okay. Grandpa won't mind. Yesterday, she didn't say anything definite in front of her grandfather. She only said that Hu Jinyao would rush over after finishing his work. He believed that Grandpa would understand. Take care of yourself. Don't get too tired. Su Qing-sang thought for a moment and added, and remember to eat. I know. I will. The corners of Hu Jinyao's lips curled up slightly. Because of Su Qing-sang's concern, he became much gentler. Honey, Hu Jinyao suddenly called her name. I miss you. They had only been apart for a day, but Hu Jinyao already missed her. If she was here, even if she didn't do anything, even if she didn't know anything, as long as she was by his side, he always felt a lot more at ease. Even if she couldn't help her in business, as long as she was in his arms, he would feel at ease. I missed you too. Her eyes were shining. It's okay. I'll be back in a couple of days. Yes, I'll be waiting for you. Hu Jinyao hung up the phone. His face was no longer as relaxed as before. He looked at the stack of documents in front of him, and his face was unprecedentedly serious. Li Qianxue confirmed the lunch menu with the kitchen again. When he came out, he found Su Qing-sang hiding in the corridor and talking on the phone. By the time she saw it, she had already hung up. Mom. Su Qing-sang walked towards her quickly. Are you looking for me? Are you calling Jinyao? How is it? Can he come over? Su Qing-sang shook her head, looking a little guilty. Something urgent happened in his company, and he had to deal with it. That's why he couldn't make it. I'm fine. I understand. Li Qianxue held her hand and asked her to go to the living room with her. If he can't come, then so be it. In any case, the people who came today were all family members. You've seen many of them before. Yes, I know. My paternal grandfather and his descendants, as well as my paternal aunt and her descendants. Besides, he had seen them before, but he didn't interact much with them. It's good that they know each other. Anyway, they're relying on the Li family to live. His attitude toward you will definitely be very polite. If anyone is rude to you or gives you a hard time, don't hold it in. Just fight back. Don't think that she didn't know that many of those people had targeted Su Qing-sang in the past, openly or secretly, although these things were related to her attitude in the past. But the past was the past, and now was the present. Now the situation was different. Of course, she wouldn't let anyone bully her daughter again. Not even the slightest bit of attitude was allowed. Mom, I know. Don't worry. They won't. Not to mention that she had acknowledged Li Qianxue now, just based on her identity as the wife of the president of Tianyu Group. As long as those people weren't stupid, they wouldn't think of provoking her, right? I know they won't, but I'm afraid that someone won't be smart. Li Qianxue patted Su Qing-sang's hand. Anyway, remember, in this family, no one can make you feel wronged. Mom. Su Qing-sang's eyes were a little sore and touched. She rubbed her face against Li Qianxue's shoulder. Her voice was very soft. You're going to spoil me. What's wrong with spoiling you? Li Qianxue didn't think she was going too far. I think it's too late. If she had known earlier, she would have loved her daughter earlier. How could things have developed to this point? She had missed so many years with her daughter. Li Qianxue was still upset that she hadn't discovered it earlier. She was gritting her teeth at Su Chenghui, who had caused this situation. However, as soon as she entered the living room with Su Qing-sang, she saw a person who shouldn't have been there. Su Chenghui, seeing that it was him, Li Qianxue's face immediately darkened. She glared at Su Chenghui with a cold face, as if she wanted to stare a hole in his body. "Why are you here?" Ever since they signed the divorce papers, the two of them hadn't seen each other for nearly 2 months. Because of Su Chenghui's resignation, the Li Corporation's business had been on her shoulders for a long time. Li Qianxue's ability wasn't bad, but the sudden increase of so much work also made her very tired. It was also because of this period of busy work that she didn't have time to think about Su Chenghui. It was very easy for her to know about him, but she didn't want to know. Even when her son or daughter mentioned this person in front of her, she would still be unhappy. Since he had already left, he was no longer here. There was no need for him to come back, let alone show up. If he wanted to see the children, he could just see them outside. This was good for both him and her. She didn't want to see this person. Now that she suddenly saw Su Chenghui, Li Qianxue was really unhappy. The guests in this house hadn't arrived yet. What was Su Chenghui doing here? "What are you doing here? Get out. You're not welcome here." Even in front of the two children, Li Qianxue didn't mind making Su Chenghui lose face. In her opinion, she didn't need to give him face at all. After Li Qianxue appeared, Su Chenghui's eyes were fixed on her. They hadn't seen each other for nearly 2 months, and she seemed to have lost a little weight. She looked good. Today was Old Master Li's birthday. She had put on light makeup. Because it was a family banquet, Li Qianxue didn't wear a dress. She was wearing a simple red dress, festive and flamboyant. She was clearly in her 40s, but she was able to completely suppress such a gorgeous color. Just like her personality, she was clear about her likes and dislikes. Like a flame, people couldn't help but be attracted to her. Su Chenghui. Noticing that Su Chenghui was staring at her, Li Qianxue felt even worse. "What are you doing here? Today is Dad's birthday. Chapter 5:15. Who's your father? Li Qianxue's eyes were unfriendly and her expression was cold. Su Chenghui's way of addressing her made her panic. What was he doing? Making connections? Su Chenghui looked at the aggressive Li Qianxue and felt bitter in his heart. "Qianxue, no matter what, I called your father father for more than 20 years. I also sincerely regard your father as my own father. Do you have to do this?" "Huh?" Li Qianxue sneered with a hint of mockery on her face. "You regard my father as your father? So you tortured my father's daughter? Replaced my father's granddaughter? Su Chenghui, is this how you regard my father as your own father?" Su Yusin and Su Qingsang both stood behind Li Qianxue without moving. Old Master Li seemed to not hear Li Qianxue's words. He just sat on the sofa and looked at the gift in front of him, which was brought by Su Chenghui. No one supported him. No one helped him. Su Chenghui stood there and found that he really seemed to have nothing to do with this family. Su Chenghui was speechless by Li Qianxue. He knew that coming today would not end well, but he had to come. If he didn't come today, he didn't even know what kind of excuse he could find to see Li Qianxue. "You should go. I don't want to see you." Su Chenghui knew that if he wanted to save face, he should leave as soon as possible. However, looking at Li Qianxue's beautiful face, he couldn't move his feet at all. He just stood on the ground and looked at Li Qianxue, his eyes burning and his gaze fervent. The kind of gaze made Li Qianxue feel disgusted again, and her tone was even more unfriendly than before. "I said get out. Did you hear me?" Li Qianxue was really disgusted by the man in front of her. It was so disgusting that when she thought of what Su Chenghui had done, she wanted to bite him a few times to vent her anger. Su Chenghui stood there without moving, just staring at Li Qianxue. That gaze gave Li Qianxue goosebumps. It was not because she was touched, but because she was disgusted. She was about to ask someone to come over and drive Su Chenghui out, but Su Yusin took a step forward and stood in front of Su Chenghui. "Dad." Li Qianxue didn't want to see Su Chenghui, but Su Yusin couldn't have the same attitude as Li Qianxue. When Su Chenghui came in, he noticed that he didn't seem to be having a good time. Today, Su Chenghui had specially cleaned himself up for Old Master Li's birthday. If he hadn't cleaned himself up, he would have looked even worse. After all, they were father and son. Su Yusin didn't want to see his father like this. It made him sad. "Dad, how have you been lately? You don't seem to have rested well." His eyes were red, and even though his clothes were neat and tidy, he still looked somewhat dispirited. Su Chenghui looked at Su Yusin, his eyes full of gratitude. I've had a lot of things to do in the past 2 days. It'll be fine once I get over it. Dad, you have to take care of yourself. Su Yusin was trying to give Su Chenghui a way out. After saying that, he didn't forget to look at Li Qianxue, his eyes a little pleading. Li Qianxue turned her face away from Su Yusin. She was still angry and hoped that Su Chenghui would leave. She didn't want to see him. Su Yusin could only look at Su Qingsang again. Su Qingsang received her brother's gaze and sighed deeply in her heart. Dad, have you had breakfast yet? As Su Qingsang spoke, she blinked at Su Chenghui. No. Su Chenghui looked at Su Qingsang. He didn't expect it. At a time like this daughter, who had never been close to him, was actually willing to help him once. He looked at Su Qingsang and felt a little hot in his eyes. I just saw that there was a lot of breakfast left in the kitchen. Dad, if you don't mind, why don't you go and eat some? Su Qingsang looked at Su Chenghui with a particularly sincere look in her eyes. It's not good for your stomach if you don't eat breakfast. Dad, you'd better go and eat. Su Chenghui didn't move and looked at Li Qianxue again. How could Li Qianxue not see the look in her daughter's eyes just now? She didn't expect that both Su Qingsang and Su Yusin would stand on Su Chenghui's side. She couldn't tell what she felt in her heart. When she met her daughter's slightly pleading eyes, she turned her face away with hatred. If it was only Su Yusin who said it, she could pretend that she didn't hear it. But Su Qingsang, Li Qianxue almost couldn't bear to refuse any of her requests now. Dad, you should go and eat quickly. As Su Qingsang spoke, she glanced at Su Yusin. Yusin, who didn't eat much just now, why don't you eat some with Dad? Okay. Su Yusin immediately understood what Su Qingsang meant. Ignoring Su Chenghui, who was still standing there in a daze, he took him in the direction of the dining room. Su Chenghui's footsteps were a little hesitant, but he was pulled to the dining room by Su Yusin. The figures of Su Chenghui and his son disappeared around the corner. Li Qianxue looked at Su Qingsang with a complicated look in her eyes. Mom. Su Qingsang knew that she was unhappy, so she took the initiative to hook her hand. You see, our family doesn't lack breakfast, right? Li Qianxue didn't speak. She wanted to wait for Su Chenghui to finish eating and then drive him away. It wasn't that she was cruel, nor was it that she was too much. It was just that when she thought of what Su Chenghui had done, she really didn't want to see him, not at all. Li Qianxue had a good idea. She wanted to drive Su Chenghui away, but she didn't expect that he hadn't finished eating yet. The guests came. Great-grandfather Li, her great-aunt, and their children. They were relatives, and Li Qianxue didn't want to lose face in front of these relatives. In the end, after Su Chenghui finished eating, he actually stayed and didn't leave. And she couldn't drive him away even if she wanted to. After all, with so many relatives here, she couldn't drive Su Chenghui out in front of so many people, could she? The noon banquet was quite lively. The older Old Master Li got, the more he liked to see his children and grandchildren in front of him. The group of people had a lively lunch. Throughout the whole process, except for Su Qingsang and her brother, Su Chenghui had been by Old Master Li's side. He looked like the son-in-law of the Li family. Su Qingsang and Su Yusin glanced at each other from time to time. No matter what happened between Li Qianxue and Su Chenghui, at least the two of them still regarded Su Chenghui as a member of the family. Some relatives didn't know the inside story and thought that Li Qianxue and Su Chenghui were still together. Previously, there was a lot of talk about divorce, but no matter what, they had been husband and wife for so many years. From the looks of it, it was clear that they quarreled at the head of the bed and reconciled at the end. In particular, Li Qianxue's cousin-in-law looked at the two of them with the eyes of an experienced person. The meaning of that look was self-evident. Li Qianxue was so angry that she had a headache. If it weren't for the fact that there were guests, she would have gone up to Su Chenghui and torn that smug smile off his face. In fact, Su Chenghui was not smug at all. Although he was accompanying Old Master Li, he was not a fool. He could see that neither Old Master Li nor Li Qianxue liked him. However, there were guests at home now, and they didn't want to fall out with him in front of the guests, so they tolerated him. Su Chenghui was still following Old Master Li even after the guests left. Su Qingsang and Su Yusin could tolerate it, and continue to be a harmonious family with Su Chenghui. But Li Qianxue didn't want to tolerate it. She had tolerated Su Chenghui for a whole day. She wanted to go up and ask Su Chenghui to get out. However, after a day of silence on this matter, Old Master Li finally opened his mouth. "Chenghui, come with me." Since Old Master Li had spoken, Li Qianxue couldn't kick him out even if she wanted to. She could only watch Su Chenghui follow Old Master Li upstairs with hatred. After entering the study, Old Master Li laid out the chessboard, looked at Su Chenghui, and said in a calm voice, "I haven't played chess with you for a while. Let's play a game." Su Chenghui looked at Old Master Li. He didn't think that Old Master Li was still in the mood to play chess with him. However, he still sat down across from Old Master Li. Old Master Li went first with a white piece, then looked at Su Chenghui, indicating for him to continue. The two of them played back and forth. Halfway through the game, Old Master Li suddenly stopped moving his chess piece. "You have a plan in mind, and you have a strategy when you play. Chenghui, your chess skills are much better than before." Su Chenghui was silent. He hadn't had time to play chess in the past 2 months. What Old Master Li said sounded like a sarcastic remark to him. "What? Do you think I'm lying to you?" Old Master Li sighed and put down the chess piece in his hand. "Chenghui, you used to play chess well, but there were always some vacillations just like you. I've always known that you didn't know what you wanted before, and you didn't know what was most important to you. But now, looking at your way of playing, you seem to know." Su Chenghui's eyes were a little hot. He looked at Old Master Li and said in a hoarse voice, "Dad, I was wrong." Old Master Li raised his hand and didn't want to hear Su Chenghui say this. "Chenghui, I don't want to judge whether you were wrong or not. Do you regret it? I don't want to know. I just want to tell you. Life is like chess. There are no regrets. Since you have done some things, you have to bear the consequences. Dad, it doesn't matter if you regret it or know that you were wrong. These things have nothing to do with Qianxue now." "Dad?" Su Chenghui looked up at him with an indescribable pain in his eyes. "I really regret it." "Chenghui, not all regrets have a chance to do it again." The expression on Old Master Li's face was painful and regretful. "In the past, I focused on expanding my business. I always thought that I wanted to make the Li Corporation bigger and stronger. But I really made it big and strong. The person who could share it with me is gone. I often regret it and often reflect on it. I always think that if I were young and didn't focus on business like this, I wouldn't have focused on my career every day. If I didn't focus on my career every day, would Qianxue's mother have lived a few more years? But there's no answer. She's dead. She's gone. No matter how much I regret it, it's useless." Su Chenghui didn't speak. Some things were blinded by a leaf. If he didn't remove the leaf, how could he find out what he really thought? "I'm very happy that you still remember my birthday today. I think you too. But you and Qianxue are just like this." "Just like what?" He didn't say the rest, but Su Chenghui understood what Old Master Li meant. His expression suddenly changed again. Chapter 516. "Dada, that's all." Old Master Li looked at Su Chenghui with a complicated look in his eyes. There was a hint of regret in his eyes. "Qianxue, and I won't stop you from seeing the children, but you and Qianxue don't need to see each other anymore." Su Chenghui's face was pale. He was already in his 40s. He had experienced a lot of storms and waves, but at this moment, he was like a greenhorn, completely at a loss of what to do. Old Master Li and Su Chenghui had been friends for so many years. Although he couldn't bear it, he didn't care. But during this period of time, he could really see it. His daughter didn't miss Su Chenghui at all. As long as his daughter had the slightest bit of nostalgia, he would give Su Chenghui a chance so that he and Li Qianxue could have another possibility. However, Li Qianxue had made it clear that she didn't want to see Su Chenghui. Since that was the case, why should he force her? He looked at the chessboard. "You've won this round. You don't have to play the rest." He won? He had clearly lost, and he had lost completely. Su Chenghui stood up and went downstairs like a ghost. When he went downstairs, Li Qianxue was in the living room, asking people to clean up the mess. She was sitting next to Su Qingsang, talking about something. Su Qingsang saw him coming downstairs and quickly stood up. This time, Su Chenghui ignored her and walked straight to Li Qianxue. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" "No." Li Qianxue sat there without moving. I have nothing to say to you. Qianxue. Su Changhui gritted his teeth so hard that his gums almost bled. Just 5 minutes. Can I? No. Li Qianxue looked up at him, her eyes cold. I don't want to give you a minute. His heart felt like it had been pierced by another arrow. Su Qinghui's voice was pleading. Qianxue, sister. Su Yusin had just come back from sending a guest. She didn't know how long he had been in the room, but he looked at Su Qingsang. You just came back yesterday. I forgot to give you a present. Come upstairs with me to get it. Su Qingsang glanced at him. Even if he didn't call her, she was going to leave. Mom, take a seat first. I'll go upstairs to get the gift. Su Qingsang followed Su Yusin upstairs. Before leaving, Su Yusin glanced at Uncle Zhang and motioned for him to ask the servants in the living room to leave first. Uncle Zhang was also very perceptive. With a wave of his hand, the rest of the people left. Li Qianxue sat there, feeling a little stifled. She looked at Su Qinghui and said, Su Changhui, are you very proud now? He had been away from home for so long, yet there were still people who stood by him. Qianxue, I feel very uncomfortable right now. Su Changhui couldn't be smug in front of her at all. Really, I feel very uncomfortable. The assets you get after our divorce should be enough for you to find a good hospital, right? Li Qianxue's words were rather blunt. Or, have you already spent all your money in just 2 months? It's okay, I can still afford it. Go ahead. How much do you want? She was treating Su Changhui like a beggar. Su Changhui clenched his fists, and his voice was low and hoarse with bitterness. Qianxue, I'm not here to ask you for money. Then what do you want? Li Qianxue turned her face to look at him with an impatient expression. Don't say that you regret it. After you left me, you suddenly realized that you fell in love with me. So you want to get back together with me? Su Changhui was rendered speechless by her words and couldn't continue. What could he say? Could he say that he wanted to get back together with her? What he could say was that he only realized after losing her that he fell in love with her, couldn't live without her, and wanted to start over with her. Qianxue, don't be like this. I do regret it. Qianxue, I'm sincere to you, Su Changhui. Li Qianxue stood up and stared straight at his face. Her gaze was cold and filled with disdain. Can you be more shameless? Qianxue, in order to return to the Li family, you really can tell any lie? Li Qianxue didn't believe him at all. In her opinion, this was just one of Su Qinghui's tricks. Qianxue, I want to come back, but not to the Li family. I want to return to your side. Li Qianxue couldn't take it anymore. Return to my side? I'm representing the Li family now. Don't you know? Su Qinghui knew that she had a deep misunderstanding of him. That's enough. Li Qianxue stood up. Su Qinghui, if you still have any dignity, then get as far away as you can. Don't appear in front of me. As for what you said, I'm sorry, but I don't believe a word you said, or even a punctuation mark. So you don't have to say anything. Li Qianxue turned around and was about to leave. Su Qinghui was anxious and reached out to grab her hand. Qianxue, what I said is true. What I said is also true. Li Qianxue wanted to pull her hand out, but Su Changhui was very strong. She was in a bad mood, and her face darkened. Su Qinghui, I'm warning you, don't be so shameless. For the sake of the children, I don't want to make things difficult for you. But don't force me to do things to the extreme. To be honest, she was actually disappointed at this point today. However, this disappointment was not for Su Qinghui, but for Su Peijian. Su Changhui obviously had a purpose for coming here. She wouldn't think that his arrival was sincere for old Master Li's birthday. She was really disappointed in Su Peijian. She had raised her for more than 20 years, even if she wasn't her biological daughter. But for so many years, whether it was her or old Master Li, their care and care for her were sincere. However, on a day like today, Su Peijian didn't even call, let alone visit the old master. Su Peijian was indeed Su Qinghui's daughter. She inherited the cold side of his personality. No matter how good he was to her, it was useless. Li Qianxue didn't want to think of the daughter she had raised. She didn't want to admit it, but she couldn't control her emotions and think in that direction. Qianxue. Su Qinghui only realized today that as long as Li Qianxue said a casual word, she could hurt him. His status had changed, and his role had changed. He seemed to finally understand his thoughts at that time. Was this how she had felt when he had treated her so coldly all those years ago? Don't call me. Li Qianxue didn't want to be entangled with this person here. It was meaningless at all. I heard you call my name, and I felt disgusted. Su Qinghui was hit by another arrow. He almost couldn't stand. He staggered and took a step back. Qianxue, don't say that you really fell in love with me. If this is your love, then your love can only make me feel disgusted and disgusted. Li Qianxue looked at his pretense and didn't give him a minute. She turned around and left. Su Qinghui was left standing there, watching Li Qianxue's back disappear around the corner of the stairs. He felt that because of Li Qianxue's words, he had been hit by arrows again and again. He sat down and supported his head with his hands. He felt a swelling pain in his eyes, and something almost wanted to rush out of them, but he restrained himself. So, Qianxue, do you hate me this much? Although he knew that this was what he deserved and that it was his own fault, Su Changhui still felt hurt. Su Qingsang waited for a long time. When she came down from upstairs, she was holding a small box in her hand. She wasn't surprised to see that Su Changhui was left alone. She went forward and sat down next to Su Changhui. Su Changhui thought that Li Qianxue had returned. When he raised his head, there was a faint expectation in his eyes. When he saw that the person who came was Su Qingsang, his eyes darkened again. This reaction was too obvious. Su Qingsang was really sure of Su Chenghui's feelings now. It turned out that he really fell in love with his mother after he divorced her. Or perhaps it wasn't like anymore, but love? Dad. Su Qingsang handed him the box in her hand. This is a gift I bought in Rong City. I originally wanted to give it to you in 2 days. Su Chenghui looked at the box, and then at the sincerity in Su Qingsang's eyes. He felt something hit his heart. There was a muffled, dull pain. He remembered that every time his daughter went out, she would buy gifts for her family. It wasn't necessarily very expensive, but it was her heart. However, every time she gave something, it would be thrown away by him or Li Qianxue. Qingsang. Su Chenghui thought of how he had neglected and ignored Su Qingsang for so many years. But now, Su Qingsang had been helping him and even preparing gifts for him. Dad. Li Qianxue was angry, and her hatred hadn't dissipated. Therefore, she didn't notice how passionate Su Chenghui's eyes were, nor did she care that Su Chenghui's eyes were full of love when he looked at her. Qingsang, I'm sorry I used to dad. Su Qingsang wasn't there to listen to Su Chenghui's apology. Besides, he had already said, "May I ask, are you really in love with Mom?" Su Chenghui was stunned for a moment. He looked at Su Qingsang with a bitter expression. You don't believe me either? He knew that he was wrong. He also knew that his past behavior was indeed a bad record. However, until today, no one was willing to believe his words, and no one was willing to stand on his side. This made Su Chenghui depressed. He was also annoyed, but more than that, he felt bitter. No, I believe you. In fact, Su Qingsang had guessed it a long time ago. If Su Chenghui really didn't love Li Qianxue, he would have divorced Xiang Kaiping after she appeared. After all, if he really loved Xiang Kaiping as much as he said, he would have been with her a long time ago. Secondly, if he really loved Xiang Kaiping that much, why would he be threatened by Li Qianxue to marry her? Qingsang, I believe you. Su Qingsang thought of Li Qianxue's expression just now. She reached out and put her hand on Su Chenghui's arm. Dad, I believe that you really love Mom. Su Chenghui was a little emotional. He didn't expect that the person who would believe him now was the daughter he had never cared about. Chapter 517. Su Chenghui was only in his 40s. Seriously speaking, he was still very young. He still had many possibilities. Plans? What plans? Su Chenghui looked bitter. I haven't thought about it yet. However, I have 2 friends who have been asking me to start company with them. I think I might go with them. I'm not asking you about business. I'm not asking you what you're going to do in the future. I'm asking you since you know that you love my mother. What plans do you have for the future? What plans can I have? Su Chenghui looked helpless. Your mother hates me so much now. I can only stay away from her. As soon as Su Chenghui finished speaking, he saw the disapproval in his daughter's eyes. Dad, Su Qingsang really felt strange. How did Su Changhui, who had such a low EQ, become the general manager of the group for so many years? Don't tell me you're really willing to never see me again? What else can I do? Your mother hates me so much now. Didn't you hate her too? You even swapped me with Su Peijian because you hated her. After saying that, Su Qingsang realized that her attitude was not right. She cleared her throat. Dad, I don't blame you. I mean, if my mother wanted to, she could have spent more than 20 years softening you up and making you fall in love with her. Why can't you spend the rest of your life begging for my mother's forgiveness? Su Chenghui looked at Su Qingsang in a daze, almost unable to understand what she meant. Was she trying to give him an idea? Dad, think about it. You're only in your 40s this year. If you live to be 100 years old, you still have more than 50 years left. Are you really willing to have my mother disappear from your life? Are you really willing to be a stranger to my mother and never see each other again? Su Qingsang's eyes were clear and full of sincerity. Su Changhui was almost bewitched by her words. You mean, if you think that my mother's reaction today made you feel bad, you should give up? Then is your love for my mother real? Why is it that my mother can spend decades being ignored by you, but she still thinks of you and loves you wholeheartedly? Since my mother can spend such a long time to move you, then why don't you do it? You can take that long to move her. Even if my mom really didn't want to forgive you in the end, at least you tried. Su Qingsang really thought so. Don't you think that even if you fail in the end, you still have a chance? But at least you've tried, right? At least you won't regret it. Not to mention, you're just doing what my mother did before. Humans are not plants. They're not emotionless. During this time, Su Qingsang had gotten to know Li Qianxue better. She believed that as long as Su Changhui showed his sincerity to Li Qianxue, he would be happy. Li Qianxue would always be touched by him. Even if he couldn't, he should at least give himself a chance, right? Hearing Su Qingsang's words, Su Qinghui's expression suddenly became eager. But after the fervor, it turned into bitterness. What's the point? Your mother doesn't even want to see me now. She doesn't want to see you. You have to create opportunities for her to see you. As for why she's so resistant to you, didn't you also resist my mother for decades? Su Changhui didn't say anything. For the first time, he looked at Su Qingsang with a new and completely different gaze. She was his daughter. He had neglected her for many years and had almost never given her a trace of love. But it was this daughter who was still willing to give him ideas and think for him in his current situation. Waves of warmth surged in his heart, and emotions of gratitude surged in his heart. There was also a faint sense of guilt and self-blame. Su Qingsang's words stopped there, and she didn't want to say more. If Su Chenghui wanted to, he naturally knew how to get Li Qianxue back. If his love was just lip service, then it didn't matter whether he worked hard or not. After all, Li Qianxue was still young. If she left Su Chenghui, a man who didn't really love her, she still had a chance to find another man. It was also a good ending for both of them to be happy. Qingsang, thank you. Su Chenghui thanked Su Qingsang sincerely. By now, he could no longer simply treat Su Qingsang as a child. She was not only a daughter who had been neglected by him, but also an adult who had grown up, matured, and had her own independent thinking and opinions. Dad, Su Qingsang smiled. You're my dad. You don't need to thank me. She said that she didn't need to thank him, but Su Chenghui was really grateful to this daughter. She didn't resent him for being changed. Instead, she could even care about him. He looked at Su Qingsang and he thought of his other daughter, Su Peijian. He had doted on Su Peijian for so many years, but what did Su Peijian do? Until now, she hadn't even called him or sent him any news. From the looks of it, it seemed that she didn't want him, her father. In comparison, he was not as good as Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang said these words today. Although it couldn't be said to be enlightened, it really gave him some confidence. Su Chenghui didn't say that he didn't know what he should do. He knew, but at this time, Su Qingsang's words were undoubtedly the greatest encouragement to him. I didn't do anything. Su Qingsang smiled. She knew that Su Changhui had already made up his mind. He just needed someone to help him again. Su Chenghui looked at the smile on Su Qingsang's face and suddenly reached out to hug her. This time, it was Su Qingsang's turn to be stunned. Su Qinghui had never hugged her since she was a child. Su Qinghui's eyes were slightly warm. This was his daughter. He quickly let go of his hand. He felt a little uncomfortable seeing Su Qingsang's shocked expression. Qingsang, I know that when you married Hu Jinyao, it was also an accident. Although my current ability can't be compared to Tianyu Group, if one day he makes you feel wronged, you must tell me. I will definitely teach that brat a good lesson. Dad, Su Qingsang now knew why Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue were together. With such a domineering and protective manner, was this really the only one in the family and no other branch? Don't worry, Hu Jinyao is quite good. Su Qinghui didn't say anything. He could more or less tell whether Hu Jinyao was good or not. At this moment, he was a little envious. Hu Jinyao was much better than him in this regard. From the beginning, he had a clear goal and knew what he wanted. On the other hand, he had been muddle-headed for so many years before he came to his senses. In comparison, he was really too inferior to Hu Jinyao. Chapter 518. Su Qinghui thought it through and left. Su Qingsang looked at his back and didn't know if what she did was right or wrong. After all, that man was her father. She couldn't bear to hurt him. More importantly, if he really loved Li Qianxue, why didn't he give himself and Li Qianxue a chance? However, thinking of Li Qianxue, she hesitated. If Li Qianxue couldn't forgive Su Qinghui in the end, she would probably blame her. Don't worry, Mom won't blame you. No one knew when Su Yusen had arrived. He sat down next to Su Qingsang. Did you hear that? Yes. Su Yusen nodded. Although he was young, he wasn't really a child. Sister, don't worry. Even if Mom is really unhappy, she won't be mad at you. I can't do anything if she's really angry. Su Qingsang couldn't bear to hurt Su Qinghui. Not only her, but Su Yusen also hoped that the family could be as good as before. She just didn't know what Li Qianxue would do. Rong City. Hu Jinyao had just gotten off the phone with Su Qingsang, but he wasn't as calm as he appeared to be in front of her. He looked at Yang Wenchang with a sullen face. What do you mean by Qiao Hong is missing? I asked someone to keep an eye on the Qiao family, but Qiao Hong hasn't gone out these days. Later, I asked someone to knock on the door under the pretext of collecting property fees, but he wasn't home. I checked the surveillance footage and found that he left last night in disguise. Yang Wenchang blamed himself for not doing a good job. He didn't expect that there would be a time when he would make a mistake. Hu Jinyao waved his hand. There were indeed a lot of things to do in the company. Working with Ikes was one thing, but the Hu brothers kept playing dirty tricks and making trouble for him from time to time was another. What was more serious was that the data of the new product developed by Hu Jinyao's company for the next quarter was stolen by Qiao Hong, one of Hu Jinyao's subordinates. That was the reason why Hu Jinyao didn't have time to go to Lin City with Su Qingsang. He went back to the company and asked someone to keep an eye on Qiao Hong. They didn't call the police for the time being because the launch of Tianyu Group's new product had reached a critical moment. They couldn't afford to make any mistakes. If Qiao Hong only wanted to use this to threaten him, he would have let it go. If Qiao Hong sold this to a rival company, thinking of this, Hu Jinyao's face darkened. President Hua, should we call the police? No. If this had nothing to do with the rival company, Tianyu would only make the situation more complicated. Sort out all of Qiao Hong's information and send it to my email. I'll send someone to find him. Yang Wenchang nodded and quickly left. Hu Jinyao took out his phone and started to make a call. Someone knocked on the door. Hu Jinyao thought it was Yang Wenchang, but it was Ding Qing. President Hua. She walked quickly to Hu Jinyao with a document in her hand. I looked into it and asked the people who work with Qiao Hong. Qiao Hong's neighbor heard that Qiao Hong had a girlfriend. The two of them had planned to get married. But something happened recently. What happened? Hu Jinyao was impressed by Ding Qing's efficiency, which was very rare. Ding Qing was the first one to find out that Qiao Hong had gone missing with the company's confidential information. Although she came to the project later, Zhang Yang had been involved in it. Therefore, Ding Qing knew something about the project after she arrived. Qiao Hong's girlfriend has uremia. He needs a kidney transplant. It's too expensive for him to afford, so it must be a mistake. Hu Jinyao frowned. He didn't agree with Ding Qing's statement. Tianyu Group had great benefits. If Qiao Hong was in trouble, he could have explained the situation to the finance department instead of stepping on the company's bottom line. However, Hu Jinyao was relieved. As long as it wasn't a rival company or Hu Yifan and Hu Jinyao, it would be fine. I found the hospital where his girlfriend is staying. Ding Qing put the document on Hu Jinyao's desk. President Hua, do you want me to go there? Find Qiao Hong? I'll go myself. Hu Jinyao looked at the name of the hospital. What a coincidence. It was the first hospital where Su Qingsang worked. If Qiao Hong wants to exchange this for money, he'll know that we're looking for him. President Hua, I'm afraid that he won't tell the truth when he sees you. Ding Qing analyzed her opinion. Look, you're the boss, and he's your employee. If he does something like this, he'll be on the opposite side of you. So, I think it's better for me to go. Ding Qing's words made sense. Hu Jinyao didn't realize it until now. Ding Qing was new to the company. Everyone in Tianyu knew that Yang Wenchang worked for Hu Jinyao. Okay, you go there. It'll be great if you can find him. If you can't, it's okay. Yes. Ding Qing lowered her eyes. At this moment, she looked extremely serious. Don't worry, President Hua. I'll find a way to persuade him to come back. Just try your best. Hu Jinyao knew that Ding Qing hadn't used her full ability yet. With such a subordinate, he wanted to know what Ding Qing was capable of. Ding Qing took the order and left. Not long after lunch, Ding Qing came back. Qiao Hong isn't here. I asked his girlfriend. His girlfriend doesn't know anything about him. She's sick, so I couldn't tell her everything. Ding Qing paused for a second. When she looked at Hu Jinyao and Yang Wenchang, she continued, but I used his girlfriend's phone as an excuse. Qiao Hong picked up. Both Hu Jinyao and Yang Wenchang looked at her, waiting for her next words. He promised me that he'd come out to see me tonight. Hu Jinyao and Yang Wenchang looked at each other, then at Ding Qing together. What time is it? Where is it? Blue night. Hu Jinyao's face darkened. He looked at Ding Qing together with Yang Wenchang. President Hua, you see, Ding Qing was still asking. Hu Jinyao knew that he couldn't let Ding Qing go there alone. Blue Night was a very famous nightclub in Rong City. It was the biggest money-squandering establishment in Rong City. Only members were allowed in there. People who weren't members couldn't get in. I'll go with you tonight. Hu Jinyao wanted to solve this problem before it got out of hand. Not only did he need to solve Qiao Hong's problem as soon as possible, but he also couldn't let the board of directors know. He especially couldn't let the Hua brothers know. After all, they had been up to too many tricks recently. Hu Jinyao didn't want the Hua brothers to have something on them. That night, before the appointed time, Hu Jinyao followed Ding Qing and Yang Wenchang to the entrance of Blue Night. Chapter 519. It's okay. The owner of Blue Night was the same as the owner of the Hot Spring Club. Thinking of what Su Qingsang had told him, Hu Jinyao decided to go there himself. That man had a powerful background. If anything happened, he wouldn't be able to do anything to him. But if it was Yang Wenchang, things would be different. Find a place to park the car and wait for my call. I'll go in with Ding Hong. Hu Jinyao and Ding Qing got out of the car and walked to the gate of Blue Night together. Ding Qing seemed a little worried. She even hesitated. Hu Jinyao glanced at her and said, "It's okay. Just act normal." Ding Qing nodded. She looked at the magnificent signboard, then at Hu Jinyao and said, "President Hua, won't we be easily recognized if we go in like this?" Hu Jinyao stopped and glanced at Ding Qing. Because of what happened tonight, she wasn't wearing the professional suit she wore during the day. Instead, she was wearing a simple black dress and a beige windbreaker. He thought for a while, then said in a lower voice, "Come with me." Okay. Ding Qing was about 3 steps away from Hu Jinyao. Because of what he said, she quickened her pace and walked to his side. They walked a few steps side by side. There seemed to be a small stone on the road. Ding Qing suddenly twisted her foot. She lost her balance and fell towards Hu Jinyao. He had to reach out his hand to steady her. Ding Qing's face was pale. She looked around and found that no one was looking at them. She said in a low voice, "I'm sorry, President Hua. I was too careless." "It's okay." Hu Jinyao thought that Ding Qing did that because she was nervous. Besides, he also saw the stone on the road. "Can you stand still?" "I can." Ding Qing stood up, but her foot hurt a little. She sucked in a cold breath. She looked at Hu Jinyao. President Hua, I think I sprained my foot. They were only a few steps away from the gate of Blue Night. Seeing that, Hu Jinyao reached out his arm and said, Can you help me walk? This. Ding Qing hesitated. I don't think it's a good idea. It won't be good if people misunderstand. It's okay. Hu Jinyao was focused on the meeting with Xiao Hong. It's just a show. Let's go. Ding Qing clenched her teeth, but at last, she took Hu Jinyao's arm. With Hu Jinyao's help, she didn't look abnormal when she walked. Thank you, President Hua, Ding Qing said in a low voice. Hu Jinyao didn't take it to heart. After seeing Xiao Hong, I'll take you to the doctor. Thank you, President Hua. I'll go home and apply some ointment. Hu Jinyao didn't insist. The two of them entered the door together. What Hu Jinyao didn't notice was that a camera had captured the scene of the two of them walking into the Blue Night hand in hand. Lin City. Old Master Li's birthday was spent with a group of relatives at noon. In the evening, only his family would have dinner together. This year, it was quieter than in previous years. In the past, there was Su Changhui and Su Peijian. Today, the two of them were gone, but Su Qingsang was there. Her cooking skills were average, and she wasn't particularly good at it. However, ever since she married Hu Jinyao, she had put some effort into it. So today, she took the initiative to cook a bowl of noodles for the old man. Grandpa, happy birthday to you. Hu Jinyao had already prepared Old Master Li's birthday present. It was a pine tree. It wasn't an ordinary pine tree. It was carved from a whole piece of jade. The gift was delivered in the morning. The jade was of high quality, and it was made by a master. The green color of the jade made the pine tree look especially tall and straight. It implied that Old Master Li would live as long as the Nanshan Mountain. It was obvious that the gift had been found with great effort. It was a good gift. Old Master Li liked it very much. However, no matter how good the gift was, it was a gift from Hu Jinyao. Su Qingsang didn't know what else to give. After thinking for a while, she decided that cooking a bowl of noodles for Old Master Li was more appropriate. Good. Old Master Li looked at the noodles that his granddaughter brought out and said the word good 3 times in a row. Old Master Li didn't lack anything at the moment. For him, the most important thing was the thought. Many years ago, Li Qianxue had cooked for him to please Su Chenghui. It was the first time that he had eaten food cooked by a junior, even if it was just a simple bowl of noodles. Grandpa, I'm not good at cooking. Please don't blame me. Su Qingsang's face was a little bitter. She wasn't particularly confident in her cooking. It looks delicious. Old Master Li was quite generous. Looking at the bowl of noodles, his eyes were full of admiration. This cooking can't be wrong. You try it first. After Su Qingsang said that, she looked at Li Qianxue and said, Mom, there's more in the kitchen. Do you want to try it too? Okay. Li Qianxue's eyes were a little red. Su Peijian didn't do any chores, and Su Yusin would never enter the kitchen. Now that the whole family was eating noodles cooked by Su Qingsang, they were all surprised and a little touched, especially Li Qianxue. She had really done everything to please Su Chenghui. She tried to learn cooking and cook for Su Chenghui. However, the final result was not satisfactory. The soup was either salty or not good enough. When the vegetables were stir-fried, they were either raw or burnt. She couldn't control the degree, but she didn't give up and always wanted to try again. In the end, she found that no matter how she tried, Su Chenghui wouldn't love her because of it, so she gave up. It's delicious. Su Yusin was the first to speak. It was obviously a very ordinary noodles, but he tasted like a feast. Really? Su Qingsang looked at him, her eyes full of disbelief. Why don't I believe it? You're not happy that I praised you? It's delicious. Li Qianxue and Old Master Li were also full of praise. Su Qingsang knew very well that it wasn't that the noodles she cooked were really delicious. It was just that Grandpa and the others gave her face. The family had a joyful and harmonious meal. That day, Su Qingsang felt that time passed very quickly, but more than that, she was happy. She really wanted to share her feelings with Hu Jinyao at this time, so she went upstairs without even taking a shower. Instead, she called Hu Jinyao first. However, no one picked up Hu Jinyao's call. Su Qing-sang didn't think too much about it. She dialed again, but still no one picked up. Looking at the time, it was already past 9 o'clock in the evening. In the past, Hua Jinyao should have been home at this time. Su Qing-sang's first reaction was that the matter with Hua Jinyao's company should be very tricky. At least he couldn't handle it in a short time. Su Qing-sang wasn't unhappy. She was just a little worried and a little distressed. After sending a message to Hua Jinyao, telling him to take care of himself no matter how late he was, she put the phone aside. Since Su Qing-sang had returned to Lin City, she naturally had to find Shi Mengwan. Early in the morning, she sent a message to Shi Mengwan asking where she was. Knowing that she was back, Shi Mengwan couldn't be more happy. The two of them agreed on a time and place to meet. Su Qing-sang hung up the phone, lay on the bed, and casually browsed through the local news and WeChat public accounts. After Su Qing-sang went to Rong City, she followed a few local WeChat public accounts in Rong City. The local news she was reading now was naturally the local news of Rong City. They were all ordinary things. After casually browsing through a few, Su Qing-sang planned to close it. However, at this time, Rong City Online, which she followed, released today's news. The news was about a certain clubhouse. It said that a few rich second-generation rich kids in Rong City had a conflict with someone in a nightclub, then smashed the nightclub's venue and almost caused a riot. Su Qing-sang wasn't interested in this kind of news. These second-generation rich kids were just a little rich, but compared to real aristocratic families, they were far from being rich. She had also attended a few of Hua Jinyao's gatherings with his childhood friends, but none of his friends were like this. Just as she was about to close the news, her eyes fell on the accompanying photo of the news. There were two people in the photo, both of whom Su Qing-sang knew. One was the woman she had spoken to the other day, and the other was Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang looked at the photo for a moment, and her mind went blank for a moment. She thought she had seen it wrong. However, no matter how she looked at it, that person was Hua Jinyao. The other woman was the one she had met at the company. Su Qing-sang read the news again. Because the news about the other two rich kids was relatively big, mobile phones were now popular. She only browsed through the news, and not only did she find the photos of the two rich kids fighting, but she also found the video of the fight on the local portal. In the video, Su Qing-sang didn't pay attention to the scene of a group of people fighting. She only stared at Hua Jinyao and the woman sitting not far away. From the video, it could be seen that the woman had been sitting close to Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao didn't push her away. Not only did he not push her away, but he also reached out to help her when the woman was about to get up. Then, the woman left for a while and came back. When she came back, she threw herself into Hua Jinyao's arms. The video ended here. Su Qing-sang watched the video again, and her expression was a little ugly. Of course, she was willing to believe Hua Jinyao, and she also believed that he must have a reason to go to that kind of place with that woman. But she thought of Hua Jinyao's hand on that woman's body, and the way that woman threw herself at Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang suddenly became angry. Even if she had misunderstood, couldn't Hua Jinyao stay away from that woman? She was angry. So she took out her phone and called Hua Jinyao without thinking. Hua Jinyao didn't answer the first time, and only answered the second time. Qing-sang. Hua Jinyao's voice sounded a little hoarse, as if he hadn't slept well. Su Qing-sang could hear it, and her heart ached a little. Her determination to find Hua Jinyao and ask him didn't decrease at all, but her expression became a lot calmer. Chapter 520. No, Hua Jinyao didn't expect Xiao Hong to lie to him. He did not appear at Blue Night at all yesterday. They called Xiao Hong, but he didn't pick up. Later, Ding Qing used her phone to call Xiao Hong. Xiao Hong didn't answer, but sent her message. He said that he didn't want to go to jail and that he saw the police when he was coming. It turned out that the fight between the playboys had attracted someone to report to the police. Xiao Hong thought that Hua Jinyao had sent the police to arrest him, so he didn't show up. Hua Jinyao didn't expect such a misunderstanding. He gestured for Ding Qing to comfort Xiao Hong. Ding Qing kept assuring him that those policemen weren't coming for Xiao Hong, so that he could calm down. In the end, Xiao Hong agreed to give Hu Jiniao and the others another chance, but he couldn't tell Ding Qing the exact location until tonight. Because of this, the three of them had wasted their time yesterday. Ding Qing was especially angry. She kept accusing Xiao Hong of breaking his promise. She seemed to be more nervous than the boss. Is the problem very difficult? If Hu Jiniao was like this, the problem must be very tricky. Su Qingsang's tone carried a hint of worry. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. That's good. Su Qingsang couldn't help but ask. Jiniao, it was Saturday yesterday. Did you go to see Grandpa? Yes. Grandpa also asked me to tell you to send his regards. Oh, Su Qingsang believed him. So you didn't go out at night? You live in the old mansion? Just as Hu Jiniao was about to answer, the computer in front of him alerted him the new email had arrived. He opened the mailbox and casually replied, Yes, I live in the old house. In fact, when Hu Jiniao stayed in the company yesterday, he had been discussing with Yang Wenchang and the others what they should do if Xiao Hong insisted on selling the confidential information to a rival company. Hu Jiniao always planned for the worst. He hoped that things would develop in a good direction. However, if the other party didn't keep their promise, he could arrest Xiao Hong or sue the other party's company. However, all of these things would bring negative consequences to Tianyu Group. Either way, Hu Jiniao needed to think of a way to deal with it. The most ideal outcome would be to find Xiao Hong and retrieve the secret. Minimize the loss. In the worst-case scenario, Xiao Hong would betray his company. At that time, both sides would perish together. Xiao Hong and his rival company wouldn't have a good ending, but Tianyu would still suffer heavy losses. Su Qingsang clenched her fists. She blinked and suddenly realized that Hu Jiniao was lying. He was lying to himself. Are you in the company now? Have you had breakfast? I ate it. Hu Jiniao read the contents of the email. His eyebrows were knitted together so tightly that a mosquito could be squeezed between his eyebrows. Jiniao. Su Qingsang told herself not to be paranoid and to trust him. Did you really stay at the old house last night? Yeah. Hu Jiniao moved the mouse and scrolled down. Su Qingsang pursed her lips and added, I haven't been home for 2 weeks. Did your mother say anything? What can she say? Hu Jiniao stared at the photos in the email. No matter what she says, I'll just ignore it. That's true. Su Qingsang didn't ask anymore. She could tell that Hu Jiniao's attitude was perfunctory. Then you go back to your work. I'll go shopping with Mengwan later. Okay. Hu Jiniao was about to hang up. He thought for a moment and added, If you want to stay in Lin City for a few more days with your mother, ask for leave. I can talk to the hospital for you. Of course, he knew that Su Qingsang and Li Qianxue hadn't known each other for a long time. He also wanted to spend more time with the Li family. However, Su Qingsang thought of something else. Okay, I got it. Su Qingsang didn't want to think about Hu Jiniao like that, but she couldn't help it. He was thinking that it would be more convenient for him to do something when she wasn't at home. Was that so? After hanging up, Su Qingsang thought about it. She was willing to believe Hu Jiniao, but she still couldn't help but call the old house of the Hu family. Coincidentally, the person who answered the phone was Old Master Hu. Grandpa, Qingsang. Old Master Hu recognized Su Qingsang's voice almost immediately. He was very happy to receive a call from his granddaughter-in-law. He didn't notice Zhang Yiqin, who came to visit this morning, because his ears moved slightly when he heard the 2 words. However, that was all. In the end, he picked up the tea in front of him and sipped it gently. His expression didn't change at all. Well, Grandpa, I just wanted to say hello to you. I can't come back to accompany you this weekend. It's okay. I heard from Jiniao. He said it's your grandpa's birthday. Remember to say hello to Yongfeng for me. Okay, I will. My grandpa misses you too. He asked me to say hello to you. He's too polite. He has a lot of things to do at home these days. When he's free, he asked him to come to Rong City to play. Okay, I'll tell Grandpa. After saying this, Su Qingsang said casually, Jiniao has been very busy recently. He always listens to you. You must talk to him and ask him not to live in the company. It's easy to catch a cold, and he can't sleep well. He sleeps in the company? Then I'll talk to him later. Speaking of which, I told him to pay more attention to his health when he came last time. There's no end to the company's business. Old Master Hua was also a smart person. What couldn't he see? In fact, he also knew that the Hui Yifan brothers had been doing a lot recently. However, they were all his grandchildren, so he didn't want to interfere too much. More importantly, he believed in Hua Jinyao's ability and that he would handle it well. Yes, he's always busy with work and doesn't come back to accompany Grandpa. He hasn't come back to see you for a few days, right? It's okay. I know he's busy. When he's done, he can come to see me again. Su Qing-sang's heart slightly tightened. What else did she not understand? Hua Jinyao didn't go back to the old house yesterday. He was really lying, and he really lied to her. After talking with old Master Hua for a while, she finally hung up the phone. Su Qing-sang sat by the bed and once again looked at the video of the fight. She didn't want to think badly of Hua Jinyao. But why would Hua Jinyao lie to her? Even if he told her directly that he went to a nightclub with that woman, she wouldn't be angry. She believed that he did everything for a reason. However, no matter how much she trusted him, she wouldn't like him lying to her. Some things couldn't be explained clearly over the phone. He could only ask when they met. No matter what, she was willing to give him a chance to explain. She was also willing to believe that Hua Jinyao was not a man who cheated in his marriage. She put her phone aside. It was almost time for the appointment with Shi Mengwan. She could only put it aside for now. Everything could wait until she returned to Rong City. Chapter 521. Ding Qing hung up the phone and looked at Hua Jinyao and Yang Wenchang. Xiao Hong said tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll meet at Charm of Night. Because of what happened before, Xiao Hong didn't trust Hua Jinyao anymore. Now, he was only willing to contact Ding Qing. Hua Jinyao furrowed his brows. Why did Xiao Hong always choose a nightclub or a nightclub? President Hua. Ding Qing looked at Hua Jinyao. She was eager to solve the problem. Why don't I go tonight? No need. I'll go with you. Hua Jinyao glanced at Ding Qing while speaking. Is your foot okay? Yesterday, Ding Qing's foot had been sprained by a small stone. Later, when they were fighting in Blue Night, she accidentally tripped on a piece of glass that was thrown on the ground. Although he reached out to hold her in time, her foot was still swollen. Ding Qing's injury was a work-related injury. As the boss, Hua Jinyao naturally had to care about his employee's injury. Thank you for your concern, President Hua. My foot is fine. Don't worry. I'm wearing a pair of flats today. I won't be a burden to you again. Ding Qing said with a guilty look on her face. What happened yesterday has nothing to do with you. It was an accident. Your foot is injured. You shouldn't go today. I'll go with Yang Wenchang. But I'm the one who contacted Xiao Hong. Ding Qing tried her best to persuade him. President Hua, I'm the one who contacted Xiao Hong, and I'm the one who agreed to meet him. If he finds out that I'm not there, he might think that we lied to him again. That'll be really troublesome. President Hua, Secretary Ding has a point. Yang Wenchang believed that it was impossible to stop Ding Qing from getting involved. Besides, Ding Qing is a woman. It'll be easier for Xiao Hong to let his guard down. Yeah, I'll go in first, and I'll text you when I see Xiao Hong. Ding Qing's suggestion was good. Hua Jinyao thought for a while, then agreed. All right, you can go with us. But you don't have to rush to ask Xiao Hong for the thing. Comfort him first. Let him calm down. I know what I'm doing, President Hua. As long as Xiao Hong shows up, I'm confident that he'll let down his guard and be willing to talk to us. All right, it was the weekend, and there was no one else in the office. After the three of them discussed what to do, they each went to make their own arrangements. Hua Jinyao thought about the series of things that had happened recently, and felt as if he had overlooked something important. Charm of the Night was also a nightclub, but it wasn't as big as Blue Night. Charm of Night's location was also a bit more remote than Blue Night's. Hua Jinyao knew that Xiao Hong didn't want to run into the police again. Just like the day before, Ding Qing was responsible for contacting Xiao Hong. Then she walked into Charm of Night. Hua Jinyao followed Ding Qing. Because Ding Qing's foot was injured, Hua Jinyao helped her up the stairs again. Thank you, President Hua, Ding Qing said in a low voice. But you don't have to help me. I'm afraid that if Xiao Hong sees it, he might think that our relationship is different. You think too much. Hua Jinyao didn't even blink or look at Ding Qing. Xiao Hong knows that I'm married. I won't think in that direction. That's good. Ding Qing seemed to be relieved. Hua Jinyao finally glanced at her and said, "What? Are you afraid that Xiao Hong might misunderstand you?" "I'm not afraid that Xiao Hong might misunderstand me. I'm afraid that others might misunderstand me." Ding Qing's voice was very low. "I just met a nice guy, and I'm planning to date him. I don't want him to misunderstand me before we even start dating." Hua Jinyao nodded. He relaxed a little because of Ding Qing's words. "Yeah, it's okay. If he really misunderstands you, I can explain for you. Thank you in advance, President Hua." Ding Qing's voice sounded cheerful, which made the tense moment a lot more relaxed. The benefits of Tianyu Group were quite good. Not only were the benefits good, but Hua Jinyao wasn't a person who would mistreat his employees. Zhang Yang, who had been working for him, was excellent at his job. This time, his wife was having a baby, and he wanted to take a vacation. Hua Jinyao immediately agreed. As for Ding Qing, Hua Jinyao approved of her hard work in the past 2 days. She was a good subordinate, and that was all. The two of them entered Charm of Night together. In order to avoid a repeat of the previous incident, the two of them chose a corner and sat down. Hua Jinyao sat down and looked around. This place was noisier than Blue Night, and there were more people here. If Xiao Hong showed up in a place like this, it would be easier for him to get away. The strange feeling in his heart came again, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong at the moment. "President Hua, do you think Xiao Hong will come today?" Hearing Ding Qing's words, Hua Jinyao glanced at her and shook his head. "I'm not sure, but I have a feeling that he will come. Today was Sunday, and tomorrow was Monday." He had to report to the managers about the progress of the project. Recently, Hui Yifan had been doing a lot of things. If Hua Jinyao didn't want Hui Yifan to be more arrogant, he couldn't make any more mistakes. Ding Qing stopped talking. She seemed to be nervous as well. She took out her phone and was about to call Xiao Hong again, but Hua Jinyao stopped her. "You don't have to call him anymore." Hua Jinyao's expression was a little cold. "If he doesn't come, you won't be able to do anything. If he comes, if you keep calling him, he will think that we need to beg him." No matter how bad the situation was, Hua Jinyao didn't want to lose the initiative. He was lucky today. Xiao Hong finally showed up. After he walked in, he walked around for a long time, then walked to where Hua Jinyao and Ding Qing were sitting. Hua Jinyao was sitting inside, while Ding Qing was sitting outside. That was why Xiao Hong didn't see Hua Jinyao at first. When he saw Hua Jinyao, he wanted to leave, but he found that Yang Wenchang had come in and was following him. Yang Wenchang blocked his way, so Xiao Hong couldn't leave. He had no choice but to sit down in front of them. "This is not a good place to talk. I've booked a private room upstairs." "Let's talk there," said Yang Wenchang. Hua Jinyao nodded. Xiao Hong knew that he couldn't leave now, so he followed them upstairs. After entering the room, Xiao Hong glared at Ding Qing. "Miss Ding, you broke your promise." "Xiao Hong, I don't think I ever said that I came here alone." Although Ding Qing said that, she felt a little guilty. Xiao Hong didn't say anything. He stood there looking very upset. "Xiao Hong, you know that, right? What you're doing now is against the law. This project of Tianyu Group was very important. Hua Jinyao was in charge of it from the beginning to the end. He was the only one who knew how much he valued this project. All the employees who worked on this project had to sign confidentiality agreements. What Xiao Hong did today was against the law. Hua Jinyao knew that, and so did Xiao Hong. As expected, when Xiao Hong heard Hua Jinyao's words, he immediately weakened. His voice trembled a little. "President Hua, I know I'm wrong, but I had no choice." Where is it?" Hua Jinyao didn't want to hear Xiao Hong talk about his so-called difficulties. Many people in this world lived hard lives, but not everyone would choose to take the unorthodox path. I didn't bring it with me." Xiao Hong was obviously a little guilty when he said that. "Why would I bring such an important thing with me?" Hua Jinyao curled up the corner of his mouth and stared at Xiao Hong coldly. His voice was very low. "Your condition? I want money." Xiao Hong was shocked by Hua Jinyao's imposing manner. His voice even softened. "How much?" 1 million. Xiao Hong wasn't greedy. His girlfriend needed hundreds of thousands of yuan to get a kidney transplant, and he had to wait for the source of the kidney. In the meantime, he had to receive all kinds of treatments. In fact, 1,000,000 yuan might not be enough to solve his problem. 2,000,000. Hua Jinyao was quite generous. I could transfer the money to you right now, but you have to take us to get the thing first. Xiao Hong rubbed his hands and looked at Hua Jinyao. I have another condition. What? I want to go back to work in Tianyu Group. Impossible. Hua Jinyao's expression was cold, leaving no room for negotiation. You should have read the company's employee rules. I will never let you go back to work in the company. Thinking of the good benefits of Tianyu Group, Xiao Hong hesitated for a moment. I just want to go back to work. I said it's impossible. Hua Jinyao released his aura. He just sat there, but he gave people the feeling that he was a cheetah staring at its prey. Xiao Hong, you don't need me to remind you of the consequences of what you did, do you? If I call the police now and send you to the police station, your life will be over. Of course, Xiao Hong knew that. He felt the sweat on his back. You don't dare to do that. If you call the police, I will ask my friend to give the thing to Anshu and Company. Then you will suffer a great loss. Really? Hua Jinyao smiled. He took out his phone and pressed the number 101, but he didn't make the call. Instead, he looked at Xiao Hong with certainty. You could try. What will happen if I call the police now? Xiao Hong didn't speak, but Hua Jinyao took the phone and stood in front of Xiao Hong in 2 steps. Did you think that I didn't make any preparations before coming to find you? Hua Jinyao was 188 meters tall, much taller than Xiao Hong. He stood in front of him and released his aura. His eyes were sharp. Yes, you can give the thing to Anshuan, and I can guarantee that they will want it from you. But if you give it to me, I will call the police. You have signed a confidentiality agreement. You can't escape from jail. And Anshuan's people dare to buy the confidential documents of Tianyu Group. What do you think will happen to them? Chapter 522. Hua Jinyao put his phone away and said, Xiao Hong, you're a smart man. I admit that you've contributed a lot to this project. I'll give you 2,000,000 today. Take the money and give me the stuff. As for going back to Tianyu, don't even think about it. After you get the money, you're not allowed to work in the same industry for 2 years. Why should I trust you? You have no choice but to trust me now. Hua Jinyao's voice was extremely cold. If I want to ban you now, believe it or not, you won't be able to find a job in the whole of China. Xiao Hong remained silent. He knew that Hua Jinyao was capable of doing that. He struggled to make his last request. I want a bank transfer, not a check. Okay, I'll transfer 1,000,000 to you now. I'll give you the rest after you give me the stuff. Let's go now. Without further ado, Hua Jinyao made Xiao Hong agree to his conditions with a few words, half threatening and half tempting. Neither Yang Wenchang nor Ding Qing had a chance to say anything since he started talking. Yang Wenchang was fine. He had worked for Hua Jinyao for a long time, and he had seen Hua Jinyao's fierce side before. However, this was the first time that Ding Qing had seen Hua Jinyao like this. She sat next to Hua Jinyao and had a strange feeling in her heart. She no longer came to Tianyu for some purpose. She was simply Hua Jinyao's subordinate now. She saw a completely different side of her boss. She looked at Hua Jinyao deeply, and her heart was filled with emotions that even she couldn't suppress. She clearly knew that the emotional change could be called a heartbeat. When they returned to the company, it was already past midnight. They had followed Xiao Hong to the place he told them to take out the stuff. They didn't expect Xiao Hong to be so bold as to put the stuff in the safe box of a suite in a 4-star hotel. Hua Jinyao didn't search Xiao Hong's home, nor did he send people to the hotel to look for him. He probably didn't expect Xiao Hong to be so bold. However, he didn't register under his own name. Even if he sent people to search all the hotels in Rong City, they wouldn't know which hotel Xiao Hong was staying in. Now that the stuff was back, Hua Jinyao kept it safe again. He turned around and looked at his 2 subordinates. There was no need to mention Yang Wenchang. After following him for so many years, he was experienced in everything he did. He knew what he was thinking the most. Whatever it was, it had already been done before the order had been given. As for Ding Qing, although she hadn't been here for long, she had been doing well in the past few days. You've all worked hard today. Go back and rest early. Hua Jinyao rubbed the space between his eyebrows. He felt that things had been solved too easily. Xiao Hong's compromise was within his expectations. He had already blocked all of Xiao Hong's escape routes. 2 million was nothing to him. But to him, this matter had been solved too easily, and it felt surreal. Yang Wenchang stood there, not in a hurry to leave. Hua Jinyao glanced at him, then turned to look at Ding Qing. Secretary Ding, you can go back and rest first. All right. Ding Qing knew that Yang Wenchang had something to say, so she didn't linger. She lowered her head and quickly left. However, after she left, she did not leave immediately. Closing the door, she pressed her ear against the door. The soundproofing in Hua Jinyao's office was so good that she couldn't hear anything. In the end, she had no choice but to leave. In the office, Yang Wenchang sat across from Hua Jinyao. Neither of them had rested well for the past few days, and neither of them looked well. President Hua, I have a feeling that something is wrong with this matter. Tell me about it. Hua Jinyao had the same feeling, but he also wanted to hear Yang Wenchang's opinion. I just feel that it's too simple. Yang Wenchang didn't believe that Xiao Hong had gone through all this trouble just for 2 million. They both knew the value of this document. More importantly, if Xiao Hong had really sold it to a rival company, even if they went to court and sued the rival company, Tianyu Group would still suffer a great loss. Also, it's too easy to solve. Today, Xiao Hong had agreed to the terms without much struggle. On the surface, it seemed that he had done so under Hua Jinyao's pressure, but in fact, it felt weird. Hua Jinyao looked at Yang Wenchang. Yang Wenchang was indeed his most valued assistant. Go and find out who Xiao Hong has been in contact with before. Or, apart from the 2 million I gave him, if there was any other unknown income in his bank account. It doesn't have to be the bank account. There are other accounts as well. Check them all. Yes. Yang Wenchang nodded and turned to leave. Hua Jinyao stopped him. You don't have to do it now. It's the same tomorrow. One more thing. Not only do we have to investigate him, but we also have to investigate his family. Xiao Hong wasn't stupid. He might not use his own account to do something like that. Yang Wenchang immediately understood what he meant. Hua Jinyao waved his hand. All right, go back to sleep. Don't come tomorrow morning. Have a good rest at home. Looking into Hua Jinyao's tired eyes, Yang Wenchang knew that he was the most tired one. President Hua, I don't need to rest tomorrow. You, on the other hand, have a tough battle to fight tomorrow. Don't worry. I know. Hua Jinyao sat up straight. His eyes were sharp. Those people want to see me make a fool of myself. I'll make a fool of myself first. Yang Wenchang lowered his eyes. Only then did he feel relieved. He quickly walked out. Hua Jinyao stayed in the office. He didn't rush home. He was still thinking about all the problems he had encountered during this period of time. Then he connected the dots one by one and found the key point. Su Qingsang walked out of the airport and tightened her coat. It was the end of spring, but the weather in Rong City was still a bit cold. Compared with the warm Lin City, it was much colder here. She didn't rush to the taxi lane. Hua Jinyao said that he would send someone to pick her up. Su Qingsang just had to wait here. She called Hua Jinyao before she got on the plane. Hua Jinyao asked her why she didn't stay in Lin City for a few more days. Not only him, but Shi Mingwan and the Li family also wanted her to stay for a few more days. She wanted to stay too, but the thought of Hua Jinyao going to a nightclub with another woman made her feel very uncomfortable. Plus, she had something to do at the hospital, so she refused their invitation to stay. She only said that she would fly back to Lin City to visit them when she had time. She took the earliest flight of the day back to Rong City. However, as soon as she pushed her luggage out of the ramp, she saw someone who shouldn't be there. Chapter 523. Su Qingsang's eyebrows twitched when she saw the woman. She immediately thought of what the two of them had done in the video. Su Qingsang stopped for a second and stood there without moving. His hand on the luggage handle tightened because of this. It was only for a few seconds, and she quickly relaxed her strength. Then, she smiled and watched the woman walk towards her. Su Qingsang looked at the woman from head to toe as she walked towards her. She was wearing a white Givenchy trench coat with a belt and a pair of Prada suede boots. Her hair was tied up, and there was a faint smile on her face. The lavender eyeshadow made her look even more charming and seductive. Su Qing-sang had to admit that the woman in front of her was indeed exquisite. More importantly, she clearly knew the advantages of her appearance, and she made full use of it. She was different from Hua Jinyao, who always wore flat shoes because she had to perform surgeries. The woman's high heels made her look much taller than Hua Jinyao, which made her look even more imposing. Ding Qing walked towards Su Qing-sang step by step. Her face was calm, and her smile was appropriate. Su Qing-sang watched her approach her step by step. Her eyes darkened a little, but soon returned to normal. "Hello, Mrs. Hua." Ding Qing walked up to Su Qing-sang and said, "I'm Ding Qing, President Hua's secretary. President Hua asked me to pick you up." In fact, Hua Jinyao had a meeting in the morning, and he had arranged for Yang Wenchang to pick him up. However, Ding Qing happened to overhear it. Yang Wenchang had found out what Hua Jinyao had asked him to look into yesterday, so Yang Wenchang was a little hesitant. Ding Qing offered to pick Su Qing-sang up. "I met Mrs. Hua when she came to the company. I know her. Don't worry. I will bring Mrs. Hua back safely." Okay. Hua Jinyao had witnessed Ding Qing's abilities recently, so he didn't think too much about it and agreed to let her pick Hua Jinyao up. Now, she stood in front of Su Qing-sang with a faint smile on her face. Her red lips were delicate, and she reached out her hand to Su Qing-sang. Her hands were different from the paleness of her palms, which were caused by the disinfectant she had been using all the time in the lab or on the operating table in the hospital. Her slender fingers were painted with crimson nail polish, and there were even beautiful flower patterns drawn on them. Su Qing-sang glanced at the man's hand and met his eyes. He was still calm, as if the provocation in the eyes of the person who said those words to her last time was just an illusion. "Hello, Mrs. Hua." She didn't reach out her hand for the first time, but Ding Qing was very polite. She reached out her hand a little bit more. "I'm Ding Qing. President Hua asked me to pick you up." Su Qing-sang looked at Ding Qing's hand, then finally took it. It was soft. She held it for a moment, then let it go. "Where's Hua Jinyao?" "President Hua has an important meeting, so he can't leave." While speaking, Ding Qing took a step forward and was about to pull Su Qing-sang's luggage. "Mr. Yang is very busy, too. I'm the only one who has free time, so I'm here to pick you up." She pulled Su Qing-sang's luggage closer to her eyes and turned to look at her with a smile. "Mrs. Hua, you don't mind, do you?" "Of course." Su Qing-sang blinked and said, "I have to thank you." "You're welcome. This is my job." While speaking, Ding Qing pointed outside and said, "Mrs. Hua, my car is parked over there. Let's go this way." "Okay." Su Qing-sang nodded. She didn't take her luggage from Ding Qing's hands, but walked quietly beside her. She didn't have much luggage, just one suitcase. Before she came here, Li Qinxue and Old Masterly had picked out a lot of nice things for her to bring back as gifts. So, Su Qing-sang had 2 suitcases. Seeing that Ding Qing was pulling 2 suitcases on each side, Su Qing-sang said something. "Miss Ding, I'll take one. It's okay. We're almost at my car anyway. It's not far." Ding Qing was wearing a pair of high heels, but her steps were still steady. Su Qing-sang glanced at her feet, then calmly withdrew her gaze. Everyone had their own strengths and characteristics. She wouldn't feel bad just because Ding Qing's makeup was better than hers, and she didn't look as smart and capable as Ding Qing. The two of them left the airport hall and walked to the underground parking lot. Ding Qing put her luggage in the trunk, then walked around to open the car door for Su Qing-sang. "Mrs. Hua, please." Su Qing-sang slightly frowned, but soon smiled and turned to look at her. "Thank you." Su Qing-sang didn't pretend to be polite. She got in the car directly. She watched Ding Qing walk to the other side of the car, get in, and start the car. From the beginning until now, Ding Qing didn't seem to have any problems. However, Su Qing-sang wouldn't forget the words that Ding Qing had said to her earlier. She wouldn't forget the way that Ding Qing threw herself at Hua Jinyao in the video. She didn't want to think badly of people, but she didn't think that people were good either, especially Ding Qing. She had every reason to suspect that this woman had an ulterior motive. To put it more directly, she had an ulterior motive towards Hua Jinyao. She said that she was Hua Jinyao's secretary, So Hua Jinyao's secretary and Hua Jinyao met each other every day. A man and a woman, as well as a superior and a subordinate, spent at least 8 hours a day together. Su Qingsang blinked her eyes and stopped thinking. She didn't want to suspect Hua Jinyao. No matter how confused she was, she would wait until she saw Hua Jinyao and ask him herself. Su Qingsang had woken up early in the morning to catch a flight, so she was very sleepy. However, Ding Qing was driving, so she couldn't rest in the car. She was still thinking about the video and the scene where Ding Qing and Hua Jinyao hugged each other. She almost blurted out and questioned the woman, but she held back. Ding Qing didn't mind that she didn't speak. Mrs. Hua, I didn't have a chance to talk to you when you came to the company last time. In fact, when the girls in our company found out that Mr. Hua was married, many female employees were heartbroken because of it. Ding Qing's eyes met Su Qingsang's in the rearview mirror. Ding Qing seemed to be complimenting Hua Jinyao, but Su Qingsang curved her lips. I don't think so. 1/3 of the female employees in Tianyu Group are heartbroken. Who's going to do the work then? Hee. Ding Qing laughed a little exaggeratedly. Mrs. Hua, you're so humorous. I'm not exactly humorous. I'm just telling the truth. Su Qingsang looked calm, but with a trace of certainty. I believe that the people in Hua Jinyao's company wouldn't be so unprofessional. Don't you think so, Miss Ding? Ding Qing wasn't stupid. Of course, she understood what she meant. For a moment, the smile on her face faded a little. She was a little embarrassed. However, the embarrassment only lasted for a moment. She looked straight ahead, as if she was driving seriously. However, she added something because of what she had said just now. Of course, the success of Tianyu Group is inseparable from the hard work of all the employees in the company. Su Qingsang nodded as if she agreed with Ding Qing. I think so too. So, I don't think that the female employees will be heartbroken because of Hua Jinyao's marriage. Or, do you think that everyone else is heartbroken because of Hua Jinyao's marriage? Mrs. Hua, you really like to joke. Ding Qing didn't expect that Su Qingsang would give her another soft rebuff. I'm not among the female employees who are heartbroken because of President Hua. After all, I have a boyfriend. As for why you know about the other female employees, Mrs. Hua, I can understand. As the company grows, there will always be more people who gossip. Yes, I believe you. Wherever there are people, there will be gossip. But I believe in Hua Jinyao's employees more than I do. If Hua Jinyao can't even handle such a small matter, and his employees lose their jobs because of his marriage, Hua Jinyao doesn't need to be the president anymore. Don't you think so? Ding Qing stopped talking. This was the first time she had a face-to-face confrontation with Su Qingsang. She had thought that Hua Jinyao was just a soft rabbit, but now she found out that she was a hedgehog. You're right, Mrs. Hua. President Hua is very capable and resourceful. I also believe that under his leadership, our employees will be able to follow Tianyu Group to a higher level. Miss Ding, Su Qingsang leaned against the back seat of the car. The heater in the car was very warm. She didn't take off her coat, but she still felt a little warm. President Hua isn't here, so you don't have to flatter him in front of me. Mrs. Hua, you're joking again. I don't think it's flattery. Don't you like people praising President Hua's ability? I don't like it. As Su Qingsang spoke, she smiled faintly. In my heart, Hua Jinyao is good at everything. So, I really don't need to listen to others praising him. Su Qingsang smiled. Ding Qing only glanced at the smile in her eyes and the sweetness on her face through the rearview mirror. She just felt that the smile on her face was a little dazzling. Why did Su Qingsang smile so sweetly? It was because of Hua Jinyao. Without Hua Jinyao, what would Su Qingsang be? Nothing at all. Ding Qing lowered her eyes. She knew that she had been a little too impatient today. She should have calmed down a little. However, when she thought of Hua Jinyao, a charm of night last night, she suddenly couldn't help it. It didn't matter. There was still a long way to go. She would be with Hua Jinyao every day. She didn't believe that she wouldn't have a chance at all. She didn't say another word. She stared at the road ahead and focused on driving. Su Qingsang didn't speak either. She looked at Ding Qing's back and thought about what she would do next. On the way here, she finally understood that Ding Qing didn't seem to be very obvious, but in fact, she was trying to provoke her with every word she said. Chapter 524. If she really took it seriously, she would be tricked by this woman and fell into her trap. After understanding this, Su Qing-sang's expression became much calmer. She didn't feel bored. Instead, she looked at the scenery outside the car window with great interest. In the silence, the car arrived at a high-end apartment complex. Ding Qing drove the car directly to the gate of one of the apartments. She stopped the car, pulled over, and turned to look at Su Qing-sang. "Mrs. Hua, let me help you carry your luggage upstairs." As she spoke, she was about to get out of the car to carry the luggage. However, when she pushed the door open, she found that Su Qing-sang was sitting in the back seat and didn't move. She was shocked and turned to look at Su Qing-sang. "Mrs. Hua." Su Qing-sang crossed her arms in front of her chest and blinked at Ding Qing, then looked at the apartment in front of her. "Who told you that I live here?" "What?" Ding Qing was surprised for a while, then apologized profusely. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Hua. I'm so sorry. Last time, when President He was drunk, I drove him home. This was the address he gave me. I thought that you two lived together. I'm sorry." Su Qing-sang didn't say anything. She looked at Ding Qing, who was apologizing and blaming herself. It seemed that Ding Qing was upset because she didn't do a good job. The car door was still open. Ding Qing was about to step out of the car. But now, she turned to look at Su Qing-sang. All of a sudden, she leaned forward a little and stared at Ding Qing's face with her sharp eyes. Ding Qing's pretty face looked surprisingly imposing at the moment. She had been with Hu Jinyao for a long time, so she had unconsciously learned some of his mannerisms. "Did you say that last time you drove Hu Jinyao home, you drove him here?" Ding Qing shrunk her neck, as if she didn't understand why Su Qing-sang's expression suddenly changed. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Hua. I acted on my own." "Acted on your own?" Su Qing-sang nodded heavily. "You did act on your own, because Hu Jinyao doesn't live here." Ding Qing blinked. Her delicate face was filled with confusion. President Hu doesn't live here?" She looked hesitant, as if she was really acting. Only Su Qing-sang didn't believe that he didn't do it on purpose. Su Qing-sang didn't answer her question. She just stared at her face, her eyes sharp and piercing. Ding Qing tried her best to stay calm. Even though Su Qing-sang was staring at her, she didn't show any panic. It only took her a few seconds to calm herself down. He tilted his head and seemed a little uncomfortable as he spoke. "Mrs. Hua, why don't you tell me your address?" Su Qing-sang didn't answer. She took out her phone and called Hu Jinyao. Ding Qing watched her, but the look on her face didn't change. Su Qing-sang was also looking at her. Seeing that this woman was so calm, she really admired her in her heart. He just hoped that he could be this calm later. The call went through, but no one answered. Su Qing-sang wasn't in a hurry and let the phone keep ringing. About a minute later, the call ended. The look on Ding Qing's face didn't change. Only she knew that there was an almost imperceptible trace of relief in her eyes. The corners of Su Qing-sang's mouth curled up slightly, and she pressed the call button again. It was a nice day in Rome City, and Su Qing-sang's flight was early. It was almost noon now. The sunlight outside was refracted through the car window, making Su Qing-sang's face look especially fair with a faint layer of light. The call finally went through. The look on Su Qing-sang's face suddenly changed. It wasn't as sharp as before, but slightly gentle. Ding Qing was also looking at her. Naturally, she didn't miss the change in Su Qing-sang's eyes. She pursed her lips slightly, but she disguised it very well. "Qing-sang, you're here?" It was Hu Jinyao's voice. He seemed to still be in a meeting, because Su Qing-sang could hear the sound of him arranging documents and someone typing on the keyboard on the other end. "Yeah, it's almost noon. Are you still busy?" Su Qing-sang kept looking at Ding Qing while talking. "Yeah." Hu Jinyao nodded, glanced at Yang Wenchang, and signaled him to go out first. "I'll send someone to pick you up. Did you get it? Are you home now?" They had just finished a meeting, and he went to the bathroom. When he came out, his phone was ringing. "I got it. I just want to ask, do you have a house in Minghua Xindu?" Minghua Xindu? Su Qing-sang's words confused Hu Jinyao. "Yeah, I have two. This building was developed by Tianyu Group. That's why I kept two. What's wrong? Why are you asking me this? No, I just passed by here and found the environment here nice. Su Qingsang noticed that when Hui Jinyao said that he had a house here, Ding Qing's lips curved up. Although it was only for a short while, she saw it clearly. She didn't ask the main point as she thought she would. The environment is nice, but not as good as where we live now. Another thing is that it's a bit far from where I work. If you like it, I'll have someone clean it up next time, and you can live there. You said you have two houses? Yeah, I wanted to live in one house by myself, so I renovated it. Later, I didn't want to live there anymore, so I arranged for Wenchang to rent it out. The other one hasn't been renovated, so it's not suitable for you to live in. If you like it, I'll have someone decorate it. You can decorate it the way you want. No need. Our house is pretty good. I don't plan to move. Su Qingsang added, I can't live in a house my mother bought for me yet, but you can continue to renovate it and rent it out. I don't have time for that. Hui Jinyao was very busy. He really didn't have time for such trivial things. Mohan wanted it before, but his company moved, so he kept it. Su Qingsang didn't ask further. She already knew what she wanted to know. Seeing that Ding Qing's expression didn't change, she felt that this woman was quite impressive. Haven't you eaten yet? No. Wenchang ordered food. It'll be sent up later. Hui Jinyao glanced at the time. Have you eaten yet? No. I told Mizu before I came. She's ready. I'll eat when I get home later. That's good. Hui Jinyao nodded. Suddenly, he thought of something. Aren't you home yet? That shouldn't be. Normally, she should be home already. No. Su Qingsang looked at Ding Qing and raised her eyebrows. Miss Ding, you don't seem to know the way. You drove to the wrong place. Hui Jinyao knitted his eyebrows. Really? Yeah. Su Qingsang said with a smile. Ding Qing's expression finally changed. Maybe it's too hard to find our house. Chapter 525. Su Qingsang had been on speakerphone when she was on the phone. She was looking at Ding Qing now. She pointed the phone screen at Ding Qing and handed it to her. Ding Qing didn't expect Su Qingsang to be so unpredictable. Because of Su Qingsang's sudden action, she didn't know what to say. This was the first time that all of her intelligence had been rendered useless. Secretary Ding? Hui Jinyao's voice was a little cold. Where are you now? Yes, I'm in Minghua Xindu. Ding Qing had been very confident in front of Hui Jinyao lately, even though she had felt a little guilty and blamed herself for what had happened to Qiao Hong in front of him before. But it still couldn't hide her shrewdness and capability. Minghua Xindu? Hui Jinyao raised his eyebrows slightly. Secretary Ding, shouldn't Minghua Xindu and the Imperial Court be in different directions? Before Ding Qing went to pick him up, he asked Yang Wenchang to tell Ding Qing the address. Why did Ding Qing bring him to Minghua Xin? No wonder Su Qingsang asked him about the house in Minghua Xindu. President Hua, I don't want to listen to your explanation now. I will give you 15 minutes to send my wife back to the Imperial Dynasty and then go back to the company. His tone was cold and impolite. The phone was on speaker mode, and Su Qingsang was sitting next to him. For a moment, Ding Qing felt that her face was burning. She sat there, her body slightly trembling. She didn't expect to face such a situation. President Hua, give the phone to my wife. Hui Jinyao's voice was still cold. He didn't plan to give Ding Qing face at all. Su Qingsang calmly took the phone out of Ding Qing's hand. This time, she turned on the speakerphone and put the phone back to her ear. Jinyao. Sorry. Hui Jinyao didn't need to know what was going on with Ding Qing. No matter what, he wouldn't be happy. Ding Qing will drive you home right away. Go back and rest well. All right. Su Qingsang watched Ding Qing turn around to start the car in a daze. She smiled and said, You should go have dinner too. Work is endless. Don't tire yourself out. I know. Her concern softened Hui Jinyao's expression. After all, Ding Qing was there, so Su Qingsang didn't say anything else. After hanging up, she looked at Ding Qing. Ding Qing's face was stiff, but she didn't start the car right away. Instead, she looked at her again, judging her. The way Ding Qing looked at her made Su Qingsang very uncomfortable, so she didn't want to be nice to Ding Qing. Secretary Ding, aren't you going to drive? Just now, Jinyao seemed to have asked you to send me home as fast as possible, right? Mrs. Hua, don't worry. I'll deliver it now. Ding Qing took a deep look at her, then turned around, started the car, and sped towards the imperial court. Su Qing-sang sat in the back seat and didn't say a word. She still looked calm, as if the phone call and Ding Qing's provocation didn't affect her at all. Ding Qing happened to see the look on Su Qing-sang's face in the rearview mirror. She clenched the steering wheel tightly. For a moment, she really wanted to stop the car, turn around, and slap the smile off Su Qing-sang's face. It was just that she held back. Seeing that the navigation had pointed to the destination, her mind turned quickly. She didn't want to admit defeat, at least not like this. Half an hour later, the car stopped at the entrance of the Imperial Court apartments. Su Qing-sang reached for the car door. This time, she didn't need Ding Qing to open the car door for her. However, before she pushed the car door open, Ding Qing suddenly turned around and looked at her. The look on her face was much calmer than before. Mrs. Hua, do you think you've won? Ding Qing looked at Su Qing-sang with determination. When not competing, who cares about winning or losing? Su Qing-sang felt that she was really patient today. She had been talking nonsense with Ding Qing. If you say so, then so be it. However, I feel that you will lose sooner or later. Mrs. Hua, do you know why? Asked Ding Qing with a faint smile on her face. Su Qing-sang didn't answer, and Ding Qing didn't need an answer. President Hua clearly asked me to drive him here that day, but he's suddenly so unhappy today. I admit I was a little impatient. But if you're not guilty, why are you so angry? To put it bluntly, he's angry because I don't know what's important. I'm also using this to cover up his guilty conscience. Speaking of this, Ding Qing suddenly smiled and said, Mrs. Hua, do you still think that you haven't lost? Su Qing-sang's expression didn't change. She just looked at Ding Qing, who was smiling and provoking her. She curled up the corners of her mouth and put on a smile that was even brighter than Ding Qing's. Lost? What do you mean by lost? Hua Jinyao asked you to drive him home? That's called losing? Mrs. Hua, why do you have to lie? President Hua and I were alone. I drove him home, and then we went upstairs. He got drunk again. What do you think will happen? Su Qing-sang looked at her with the same smile on her face. What are you trying to imply? That Hua Jinyao got drunk and had sex with you? Or that you took the initiative to hook up with him, and then Hua Jinyao took advantage of the fact that he was drunk? Did you do it? Are you sure? Ding Qing moved her lips. She was very sure that if she dared to say that Hua Jinyao did it with her, this woman would immediately call Hua Jinyao to verify it. It's normal for a man to do something when he's drunk. Mrs. Hua, are you angry? She was hoping that Su Qing-sang would be angry. It was a pity that Su Qing-sang never played by the rules. She was destined to fail. Ding Qing, Secretary Ding, I think you should see a doctor. After all, it's not good for you to have delusions at such a young age. Mrs. Hua, do you think I'm lying to you? If you don't believe me, you can call President Hua. You can ask him if we spent the whole night together on Friday night. Of course, they spent the whole night together. However, they spent the whole night together in the company's office. Not only that, Yang Wenchang was with them. However, Ding Qing would never tell Hua Jinyao the truth. Even if Su Qing-sang asked Hua Jinyao, she would get the same answer. Secretary Ding, you really don't have to lie to me. I also believe that you spent the whole night with Hua Jinyao. But there's something you don't know, right? What is it? Su Qing-sang didn't want to waste any more time with this woman. She glanced at her coldly, with sympathy and sarcasm in her eyes. Then, she pushed the car door open and stepped out of the car. Every time Hua Jinyao gets drunk, he only sleeps. He doesn't do anything else. And more importantly, Su Qing-sang didn't finish the second half of her sentence. She slammed the car door shut and walked to the back to get the luggage. Ding Qing didn't hear the last part of Su Qing-sang's sentence. She got out of the car without hesitation. Seeing Su Qing-sang take the 2 suitcases down, she reached out her hand to stop her from pulling the lever. What's the other thing? Su Qing-sang gently waved her hand away and pulled the 2 suitcases in front of her. Seeing the anxious look on Ding Qing's face, she leaned forward a little and spoke in a low voice that only the two of them could hear. Hua Jinyao, he doesn't lift. You don't know that, do you? It was noon, and there were few people in the neighborhood. Su Qingsang wasn't afraid that people would hear her even if she spoke in a low voice. However, she said it in such a way. Seeing Ding Qing's stunned face, she chuckled and said, Miss Ding, if you want to lie next time, you'd better prepare a strategy. No, that's impossible. Ding Qing didn't believe a single word that Su Qingsang said. She didn't believe a single word that Su Qingsang said. Impossible? Then why don't you think about why Hua Jinyao would marry me, considering his family background? You've investigated my identity, haven't you? No matter whether Li Qianxue acknowledged her or not, she was still an illegitimate daughter of the Li family on the surface. Her identity hadn't been made public. Ding Qing was almost petrified. She stared at Su Qingsang with her eyes wide open, unable to digest what Su Qingsang had just said. Su Qingsang looked at her, her eyes full of sympathy and sarcasm. At last, she pulled the two suitcases into the apartment quickly. Ding Qing stood there for a long time. She didn't come to herself until a cold wind blew over. She thought about the tall and strong Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang's words, but she couldn't connect the two together. How was that possible? It was impossible. She returned to the company in such a state of shock and bewilderment. As soon as she entered the company, she was called into Hua Jinyao's office. When she met Hua Jinyao's cold eyes, she still hadn't come to herself from Su Qingsang's words. She even subconsciously looked at Hua Jinyao's lower body. However, her eyes were blocked by the desk. She couldn't help but look into Hua Jinyao's eyes again. Hua Jinyao was unhappy that she was staring at him. He narrowed his eyes and looked at Ding Qing. Miss Ding, can you please explain it to me? I asked you to send my wife to the imperial court, but you sent her to Minghua, Xindu, instead. His voice was cold, and his words were even colder. Ding Qing had already thought of an excuse for herself on her way to the hospital. I'm sorry, President Hua. When I got Mrs. Hua, she didn't say that she was going home for lunch. I asked her, and she said that she hadn't had lunch yet. Then, I remembered that there's a private restaurant near Minghua Xindu. The food there is quite good, so I want to take Mrs. Hua there. When I passed by Minghua Xindu, I remembered that Miss Chan mentioned that your apartment was for rent, so I chatted with Mrs. Hua for a while. Then, I found out that she didn't seem to know that your apartment was there. I'm sorry, President Hua. I shouldn't have said so much. Ding Qing's words were beautiful. First, she said that she was sending Su Qingsang to lunch out of kindness. Then, she said that Su Qingsang called him because she found out that Hua Jinyao had a house in Minghua Xindu. Chapter 5:26. Hua Jinyao remained silent. Ding Qing stood there with a guilty look on her face. She was betting. He was betting that Su Qingsang wouldn't ask him about it after Hua Jinyao went back. However, even if he asked, her explanation today was considered acceptable. She was confident that she had a 90% chance of passing. Hua Jinyao looked at Ding Qing. Ding Qing was a capable woman. Ever since she took over Zhang Yang's job, she had performed admirably. As she was a woman, she was even more meticulous than Zhang Yang. If possible, he didn't want to change his secretary for the time being. However, there were conditions for that. Secretary Ding. Ding Qing stood there. She wasn't sure if she could pass today's test. If she couldn't, she could only blame her bad luck. I hope you can understand one thing. President Hua, please go ahead. Ding Qing lowered her head. I can understand if you make a small mistake at work, or if you don't do your best in some aspects. But in everything that concerns my wife, these are all my bottom lines, understand? Su Qingsang wasn't an unreasonable person. She wouldn't be upset just because he didn't tell her that he had a house in Minghua Xin. That was not Su Qingsang's style. There were other reasons for Hua Jinyao's preference. The reason probably had something to do with Ding Qing. Ding Qing crossed her hands. She didn't even dare to raise her head. I'm sorry, President Hua. I'm so sorry. I promise there will be no next time. If you lie in front of me, you know what will happen, right? Ding Qing felt a great deal of pressure. Her back was covered in sweat. Mr. Hua, I didn't lie. I'm telling the truth. As Secretary Ding. Hua Jinyao looked at Ding Qing and said in a cold voice, Are you sure that my wife is mad at me because I didn't tell her which properties I own? That's not what I mean. Ding Qing lowered her eyes and said, maybe, or maybe I said something inappropriate, or maybe I said something that upset Mrs. Hua. In short, it's all my fault. As long as you know. Hua Jinyao lowered his head and didn't look at Ding Qing again. Ding Qing could feel the sweat dripping down her back. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Please give me one more chance. The office was very quiet. Hua Jinyao didn't speak. He just busied himself with what he was doing. He didn't let Ding Qing leave, nor did he tell her what to do with her. Ding Qing moved her lips. She couldn't help but say something. Hua Jinyao finally finished the documents in his hands and raised his head to look at her. Sure, I'll give you a chance. Hua Jinyao looked at Ding Qing and waved his hand. If it happens again, don't blame me for being rude. After all, Ding Qing had contributed a lot to Qiao Hong's death. She had even been injured because of it. He wasn't an unreasonable boss. If possible, he didn't want to change people every day. Ding Qing turned around and left. When she walked out of Hua Jinyao's office, she sighed softly. He flew at a low altitude, but at least he passed. This time, she was too impatient. Next time, she would definitely not make such a mistake. However, there wouldn't be a next time. Ding Qing turned around and looked at Hua Jinyao's office with determination in her eyes. When Hua Jinyao was about to get off work, Yang Wenchong walked in. He had asked someone to check Qiao Hong's bank accounts today, but no problem was found. That wasn't normal. It seemed to be an impromptu decision. But now, Hua Jinyao had reason to suspect that things weren't as simple as they seemed. Yes, that's not normal. Hua Jinyao gently tapped the desk with a serious look on his face. He looked at Yang Wenchong and said, Are you sure that you've checked all his bank accounts, including his family's accounts? Yes. Yang Wenchong was very sure. I've checked all of them. I've even checked Qiao Hong's grandparents, who are already old. Nothing suspicious. No. Did they suddenly move? Not really. Yang Wenchong was very capable. Of course, he wouldn't allow himself to make such a stupid mistake. Qiao Hong's parents live in an affordable neighborhood about an hour's drive from the company. Qiao Hong's parents raised a down payment and said that they would buy him a new house for him to get married. That's what happened to his girlfriend. Hua Jinyao felt that something was wrong. Suddenly, he stopped tapping the desk and thought of a problem. Keep watching Qiao Hong's bank accounts. Mr. Hua, keep watching him. First, find out what he spent the 2 million on. Secondly, take a look and see if anyone has suddenly given Qiao Hong money in the next half a month. Yang Wenchong's eyes lit up. Mr. Hua, you mean that Qiao Hong hasn't received the money yet, so you can't find out anything? Yes. If it was a trap, the other party must have promised the other party something good. The benefit didn't have to be given immediately. It could be given later. Just look at the weight of the person who gave you the benefits, and you will know. What if Qiao Hong is not suspicious in the end? Then it can only mean that he did it on an impromptu decision. However, Hua Jinyao didn't believe it. Go. You've worked hard. Go home early today. Mr. Hua, the board meeting this morning, it's okay. I can handle it. Hua Yifan was indeed a little too proud recently. But it didn't matter. Let him be proud for a while. Hua Yifan was the vice president of the company, but recently, he seemed to be in the limelight. It was only because he negotiated the Ike's case. However, they all knew exactly how he negotiated the case. Hua Yifan didn't feel embarrassed to take most of the credit for it. Not only Hua Yifan, but Hua Yiyang, who was placed in the design department of the company, had also become more arrogant recently. He didn't want to think about what the siblings had done in the dark. They wouldn't be arrogant for long anyway. Hua Jinyao wanted to talk to Yang Wenchong about Ding Qing so that he could hire a backup, but he didn't in the end. Since he had promised to give Ding Qing a chance, he would let her stay. Zhang Yang was only taking a vacation, not quitting. Yang Wenchong looked a little worried. He watched Hua Jinyao leave without saying a word. He truly felt that Hua Jinyao had been through a lot. He had never seen a chairman like his own, who would help his nephew instead of his own son. Hua Jinyao didn't know that he had become like a cabbage, which made Yang Wenchong feel sorry for him. When he got home, the lights were already bright. Su Qing-sang was talking to Auntie Yu in the kitchen, and the sound of the two women's chatting could be faintly heard. There was a faint aroma of food in the air. The dim yellow light in the room made him feel warm again. The warm feeling he had when he was in Lin City came again. He put down the car key, gently changed his shoes, and walked to the door of the kitchen. Mizu was cooking, and Su Qing-sang was helping her. Mizu, just put some salt in the soup, right? Yes, Mizu said with a smile. I didn't expect you to be so talented. When Mr. Tang comes back and finds out that you made this soup, he will love it. Who said I made it for him? Su Qing-sang put the salt in the soup, tasted it, and said, I'm tired these days. Can't I make it for myself? Madam, I'm afraid that Mr. Tang will have to drink a few more bowls later. Seeing that Su Qing-sang didn't mean what she said, Mizu smiled brightly and scooped the dishes. She turned around and saw Hua Jinyao coming back. Su Qing-sang was about to retort when she suddenly saw Hua Jinyao's figure. She was startled and almost dropped the spoon in her hand. She glared at Hua Jinyao and took the soup outside. Hua Jinyao followed behind her and put his arms around her waist when she put down the soup. Honey, I missed you so much. Stop it. Su Qing-sang patted the back of his hand. Go wash your hands and get ready for dinner. Honey, I really missed you. Didn't you miss me? He leaned in close to her ear, his hot breath on her neck. Su Qing-sang felt itchy and shrank her neck. Who wants to miss you? Go wash your hands and eat. Yes, madam. He raised 3 fingers and then quickly headed in the direction of the bathroom. Su Qing-sang shook her head and went back to the kitchen to help bring out the dishes. Mizu was a little embarrassed. Madam, please sit down. I'll do it. It's okay. I have nothing to do anyway. She came back in the afternoon, packed up her things, and slept for a while. When she woke up, Mizu had already started cooking. When Hua Jinyao came out, 4 dishes and 1 soup were already on the table. Mizu untied the apron around her waist. Sir, madam, I'll go back first. Leave the bowls here. I'll come and clean them up tomorrow. After Mizu left, Su Qing-sang scooped a bowl of soup. Unexpectedly, she didn't put it in front of Hua Jinyao like before. Instead, she put it in front of herself. She picked up the bowl and smelled the aroma. It was delicious. She couldn't tell that she was really talented in cooking. Hua Jinyao saw that her attitude was different from usual and understood what was going on. He leaned over with a faint smile on his face. Honey, are you angry? I'm not angry. Su Qing-sang took a sip of the soup. Yes, it tasted good. She could try something else next time. How could she not be angry? Then, wife, give me a bowl of soup. Don't you have hands? Su Qing-sang glanced at him coldly. Hua Jinyao's gaze became more and more resentful, but only for a moment. He quickly put on a fawning smile. Honey, don't be angry. I said I'm not angry. No. You see, I really didn't mean to not tell you. I have a house in Minghua. I have too many properties under my name. If you want to know, I'll ask Wenchong to calculate tomorrow how much real estate, movable property, and other funds, stocks, bonds, and so on I have. I'll let you have a look then. Su Qing-sang put down the bowl and didn't look at him. No need. Why would I look at those? You're my wife now. So, are my properties also yours? Is that so? Su Qing-sang smiled fakely. Thank you, but no need. The money I earn is enough for me to spend. After Li Qinxue recognized her, she gave her 5% of the Li Group's shares and a monthly dividend. Li Qinxue bought a few properties in Rong City. Other than the small villa she lived in, the remaining 2 houses were now rented out. The rent was not small each year. Her monthly salary was also enough for her expenses. She wasn't a person who spent money like water and only wanted to enjoy life. Honey, really don't be angry. I promise. I'll tell you everything next time. Okay. Hua Jinyao pulled the chair closer to her. Su Qing-sang put her hand on her forehead and looked at him. Do you want to eat? Honey. Hua Jinyao met Su Qing-sang's eyes and had no choice but to compromise. I'll eat. Honey, you're so fierce. Su Qing-sang's mouth twitched. Hua Jinyao, but you're also very cute when you're fierce. I like it very much. Su Qing-sang's forehead twitched. Who was going to take this guy away? Why was he always so indecent when he was outside? Why was he always so indecent in front of her? Hua Jinyao wanted to speak a few times, but Su Qing-sang didn't look at him. She just ate quietly. Auntie Yu's cooking was quite good. At least, Su Qing-sang had a good appetite. After eating, Hua Jinyao thought that he could have a good chat. Unexpectedly, Su Qing-sang took the initiative to wash the dishes. Honey, let Auntie you clean it up tomorrow. No need. Su Qing-sang cleaned the table and dishes without looking at Hu Jinyao. Honey, do you want me to help? Su Qing-sang finally stopped what she was doing. She turned to look at him and said calmly, Well, do you want to break a few more bowls? Hu Jinyao was terrified. He stopped talking and watched Su Qing-sang busy. Her movements were fast and neat. Not long after, she cleaned the kitchen. At the same time, he also wiped the dining table outside. Hu Jinyao followed behind her, but she pretended not to see him. After she was done, she went straight back to her room. Hu Jinyao had no choice but to follow her in again. Su Qing-sang had already packed her luggage in the afternoon. She took out the gifts one by one. Some were for Old Master Hua, some for Huoming Wang, and some for Lu Tongjia. There were also some local specialties from Lin City. Su Qing-sang planned to take them to the hospital tomorrow for Sun Huiya and the others. She had to go to work tomorrow, so Su Qing-sang packed the gifts one by one according to the amount she had bought before. Hu Jinyao watched her from the side. Honey, shut up, don't disturb me. Hu Jinyao was very sad. He glanced at Su Qing-sang, turned around, and went to the bathroom to take a shower. Su Qing-sang wasn't afraid of Hua Jinyao's anger. In fact, she was angry. Even if she believed that there was nothing between Hu Jinyao and Ding Qing, Hu Jinyao was a married man. When a woman threw herself at him, he didn't push her away and even reached out with a look of enjoyment. Su Qing-sang ignored Hu Jinyao. She packed all the gifts and put them away. She only needed to carry them to the car tomorrow. She went to the closet to get her pajamas and was about to take a shower. When she was about to go in, Hu Jinyao just came out. Honey, are you going to take a shower? Su Qing-sang gave him a look as if he was an idiot. She was going to take a shower with her pajamas. Honey, do you want me to help you? As Hu Jinyao spoke, he winked at Su Qing-sang. He was handsome. Even with such a roguish expression, he looked quite attractive. Su Qing-sang stopped breathing and tried to calm down. Thank you. No need. Honey, you don't have to be so polite with me. I'll be happy to help you take a shower. As he spoke, he shook his head. He had just taken a shower, and his body was a little damp. The ends of his hair were wet. Water dripped down and fell on his chest, which was only wrapped in a bath towel. Su Qing-sang looked straight ahead and forced herself not to look at Hu Jinyao's masculinity. Thank you, but I don't want you to help me take a shower. After saying that, Su Qing-sang walked past him and went to the bathroom. However, Hu Jinyao suddenly hugged her. He turned around and easily pressed her body against the wall. He was very tall, and Su Qing-sang was very petite. Being pressed by him like that, she felt as if her whole body was nailed to the wall. She didn't hold her pajamas properly and fell to the ground. Hu Jinyao, put me down. It didn't feel good to have her feet hanging in the air. Su Qing-sang gritted her teeth and stared at him, signaling him to put her down. Hu Jinyao didn't let her down. With his height advantage, he easily trapped Su Qing-sang's body and made her look at him. His forehead was against hers, and the tips of their noses were almost touching. His eyes met hers. His black pupils were so dark that she couldn't see the bottom of them. Su Qing-sang cursed in her heart. Bastard, he only knows how to seduce me with his body. He's too much. Honey, are you done being angry? Hu Jinyao didn't just use his body. He lowered his voice and spoke in a soft voice. His voice was very sexy. Su Qing-sang suddenly felt a little breathless. She forced herself not to look at his handsome face. Is there something wrong with your ears? I said, I'm not angry. Liar. Hu Jinyao held her face with one hand and didn't let her escape. Okay, if you say you're not angry, then don't be angry. Honey, we haven't seen each other for a few days. You don't even know how much I missed you. As he spoke, one of his hands slid down her cheek, little by little, over her front, and then her collarbone. Hu Jinyao. Su Qing-sang didn't want to have sex with him now. She still had things to ask. Sure, honey. Hu Jinyao leaned over and gently pecked her lips. I missed you so much when you weren't at home. You really didn't miss me at all? Did you miss me? Su Qing-sang turned her head and avoided his second kiss. Why do I feel that you're so busy that you don't have time to miss me? Honey, He was very busy, but being busy and missing her were two different things. I'm so sad that you miss me like this. You're sad? Why don't I feel that way? Su Qing-sang raised her eyebrows slightly as she spoke. Her clear eyes were a little mischievous. A hand gently poked his chest. It wasn't asterisk asterisk, but asterisk asterisk. It was just a gentle nod. Chapter 5:27. Hua Jinyao paused for a second and let go of her. Su Qing-sang slid down from his arms. To prevent herself from falling, she pressed her back against the wall. As she was about to leave his arms, Hua Jinyao suddenly put his hands on both sides of her body. Honey, how did you know? Hua Jinyao thought of her phone call that day and Ding Qing. His face darkened. Did Ding Qing tell him about it? How did I know? It's all because you went to a nightclub. It's all over the news. Why? Are you afraid that I'll find out about it? Hua Jinyao was stunned for a moment. Not everyone in Rome City dared to mess with Tianya Group. Not everyone dared to report on his news. He rarely gave interviews to the media, and almost no photos were leaked to the public. Because of that, the Li family couldn't find out who he was when he was in Lin City. Honey, look at you. If you want to sentence me to death, you should at least give me a chance to appeal, right? A chance to appeal, right? Okay. Su Qing-sang didn't waste time talking to him. She took out her phone and clicked on the WeChat account. She swiped her finger on the screen. Soon, Hua Jinyao saw the news that day, and, of course, he saw himself in the video. Of course, he saw Ding Qing throw herself into his arms. He thought of the tone Su Qing-sang used when she called him. He suddenly thought of Ding Qing's words. He suddenly understood why Su Qing-sang used that tone when she called him. So that was why. He was wondering why Su Qing-sang would get angry at him because of a house. Honey, I can explain. Go ahead. I'm listening. Su Qing-sang spread her hands and looked like she was all ears. Actually, it's a long story. You can make it short. As she spoke, Su Qing-sang picked up her pajamas. She stepped back again and stood at the door of the bathroom. Exactly. Why did Ding Qing and I appear in that bar? It's because our company lost something. Then, it fell into the hands of an employee. Because it was very important, I was in a hurry to get it back that day. She briefly explained what happened that day. Hua Jinyao didn't elaborate further. However, Su Qing-sang sensed something different in his voice. You mean you got it back now? Yeah, I got it back. Seeing that she stopped asking about Ding Qing, Hua Jinyao sighed with relief. That was really an accident. Su Qing-sang saw it. No wonder she was unhappy when Ding Qing went to pick her up. You said you spent $2 million? He said it casually, but Su Qing-sang took it in. Yeah. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qing-sang nervously. Honey, you're not going to complain that I spent too much money, are you? Su Qing-sang rolled her eyes at him. She didn't want to talk to him when he was so out of tune. She held the pajamas in her hands and fell into deep thought. Tianya Group was such a big company, and its benefits were quite good. The employees had all signed confidentiality agreements, and the annual salary of the employees involved in this project was at least a few $100,000 yuan. Would the other party do such a thing for $2 million? Hua Jinyao, don't you think there's something wrong with this? What's wrong? Of course, Hua Jinyao did, but now he was interested in Su Qing-sang's deduction. Su Qing-sang told him about her inference and pointed out the unreasonable parts of it. So he only needs to work for Tianya Group for 2 or 3 years, or at most 3 or 4 years. Then he has the money. Why would he do such a thing? Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qing-sang with undisguised appreciation in his eyes. It was a pity that Su Qing-sang went to study medicine. She was quite sensitive about business. Besides, if it were me, I could ask for a sky-high price. If I asked you for 10 or 20 million, you would have to pay me. After all, you said that this project is worth hundreds of millions, and you have invested hundreds of millions. So, this is completely unreasonable. Su Qing-sang stated her own point of view. Hua Jinyao looked at her and couldn't help but be tempted. He leaned over and kissed her hard on the lips. Honey, you're so smart. Su Qing-sang looked into his eyes and didn't answer him. She raised her hand and gently pinched his arm. Then, she found that Hua Jinyao's arm was strong and full of muscles. She retracted her hand and poked his chest instead. Hui Jinyao, don't think that I'll forgive you for lying to me just because you praised me. Honey, how did I lie to you? Hui Jinyao felt a little wronged. Was everything I said the truth? Everything you said was the truth. Of course. Then tell me that you had a reason to go to the nightclub. I believe you. So why did you lie to me and say that you were at the old house? Hui Jinyao blinked. Su Qing-sang's face was full of smiles. She nodded at him gently, signaling him to remember quickly. Her smile was meaningful, and Hui Jinyao suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Honey, forgot? Do you want me to remind you? Go ahead. I called you that day and asked you where you stayed yesterday. What did you tell me? You told me that you live in the old house. Su Qing-sang paused and poked Hui Jinyao's chest with her finger. Hui Jinyao, it's fun to lie to me, isn't it? Honey, you've really wronged me. I was reading an email at that time, and I just answered casually. I really didn't lie to you. A casual answer is a lie, as if it's true. Then, if one day you deliberately want to lie to me, I won't know at all, right? Honey, how could that be? I'm an outstanding young man with 5 stresses, 4 beauties, and 3 loves. I've never lied to anyone. You never lied to others? Su Qing-sang poked his chest with her hand again. Why do I remember that you started to lie to me when we just got married? Hui Jinyao was speechless. He looked at Su Qing-sang with his dark eyes full of helplessness. Honey, let's talk about something, okay? Go ahead. Can we not bring up the past? Okay. Su Qing-sang nodded. Come, let's talk about the current situation. You went to the nightclub with Secretary Ding, but you lied to me that you went back to the old house. Are you lying to me? Also, forget about you going to the nightclub with Secretary Ding. Why did you carry her? I didn't carry her. Hui Jinyao didn't want to take the blame. At that time, another group of people was fighting, and she happened to step on a wine bottle that they threw at her. She lost her balance and fell in my direction. All I did was help her. Hui Jinyao said the last few words in a lower and lower voice. By the last word, his voice was almost silent. Su Qing-sang nodded and looked understanding. I understand. You helped her to prevent her from falling. Yes, and also to hug a beauty, right? Su Qing-sang tightened the pajamas in her arms as she spoke. She looked up at Hui Jinyao and said, Secretary Ding's figure is good, right? Not as good as you. Hui Jinyao answered quickly. Su Qing-sang nodded and looked understanding. Not as good as me? That means you seriously looked at her figure, right? You hug her very clearly, right? Otherwise, how would you know that she's not as good as me? Honey, Hui Jinyao was defeated by Su Qing-sang. I don't remember her figure at all. Anyway, in my heart, my wife is number 1 in every aspect. She's the best in the world. Her figure is naturally the same. Seeing Su Qing-sang's disapproving face, he hugged her. Honey, are you jealous? Who wants to be jealous of you? Su Qing-sang didn't look at Hui Jinyao. She wouldn't admit it. You still say no? Look. Hui Jinyao touched her lips with his hand. Your mouth can hang an oil bottle on it. You still say you're not jealous. Su Qing-sang bit his hand a little hard and a little hard. Hui Jinyao was in pain and pulled his hand back. He looked at Su Qing-sang with a wronged expression. Honey, yes. I'm jealous. Why? Can't I be jealous? Honey, you're my husband. Su Qing-sang poked his chest hard again and said, You belong to me from head to toe, from inside to outside. Mine. Other women can't touch you at all. Isn't that right? Yes. Her poke couldn't hurt him at all, but Hui Jinyao liked it very much when she was jealous. So now you're being touched by other women and being hugged by other women. Tell me, can't I be jealous? Yes. You're too capable. Hui Jinyao wrapped his arms around her waist and begged for mercy. Honey, don't worry. Next time, even if other women fall to their deaths in front of me, I promise I won't even lift a finger. I'll let them fall to their deaths. All right, you make it sound like I'm cold-blooded. Su Qing-sang couldn't bear it anymore. I'm not stopping you from saving people. But next time, stay away from those women. Yes. Hui Jinyao took the opportunity to kiss her on the lips again. My wife is gentle, kind, and cute. I'm so lucky to be able to marry you. Hui Jinyao, let go of me. I'm going to take a shower. Su Qing-sang couldn't bear it anymore. Hui Jinyao felt that it wasn't enough. Honey, we've been apart for so many years. Do you miss me? Seeing that she didn't answer, he wasn't in a hurry. He picked her up and walked toward the bed. Honey, don't spend your time being jealous and talking about my past. Let's do something that will make each other happy. Isn't that good? Su Qing-sang was defeated by him. He could even talk about such things in such a fresh and refined way. She had to give it to him. I didn't take a shower. It's okay. I'll take a shower later. As Hui Jinyao spoke, he had already kissed her on the lips. Soon, the towel around his waist fell under the bed. The clothes that Su Qing-sang was wearing had fallen under the bed at some point. When Su Qing-sang was in a daze, she felt Hui Jinyao leave her body. He got up from the bedside table to get the condom. She was momentarily dazed. Hui Jinyao, honey, don't worry. It'll be quick. No, that wasn't what she wanted to ask. Jinyao, I think it might be okay. Her voice was very low, like the sound of a mosquito. This time, when she went to Lin City, she got along very well with Li Qinxue. After untangling the knot in her heart, she suddenly felt that being a mother didn't seem to be something that she resisted so much. If she could have a child, thinking about it, it didn't seem so repulsive. This child wouldn't be an illegitimate child. This child was her and Hui Jinyao's child. It was their baby. She also believed that both the elders of the Hui family and the Li family would take care of this child in the palm of their hands. When she came back, she had already begun to think about it. If she stopped using contraceptives and really got pregnant and gave birth, it seemed possible. At least for now, she was willing to try and learn how to be a mother. Hui Jinyao paused for a moment. He lowered his head and looked at Su Qing-sang, whose face was flushed and her breathing was rapid. He suddenly stopped and kissed her lips again. Honey, there's no hurry. We're not in a hurry. Separated by a thin 0.01, everything felt the same as usual. However, in extreme happiness, Su Qing-sang had a vague feeling. Why did she suddenly feel that Hui Jinyao seemed to be the person who didn't want children? Su Qing-sang carried 2 big bags of local specialties into the door of the department. It was Tuesday, so there were fewer patients than on Monday. Su Qing-sang took advantage of the break to distribute the gifts to everyone. It's not valuable. It's a local specialty of Lin City. Please don't mind it. She said it politely, but the people in the department weren't stupid. All of them were very grateful, and they all took the gifts and thanked her. Su Qing-sang put on a white coat after she finished distributing the gifts. When she was about to go to the clinic, Li Meilin blocked her way. Dr. Su, there's something I'd like to tell you. What? Li Hong's family has been making a scene in the hospital these days. They want you to give them an explanation. They want me to give them an explanation? Su Qing-sang blinked. She didn't understand what Li Meilin said. Why did they want an explanation? Li Hong gave birth to a daughter, and then her uterus was removed. She can't have children anymore. Her husband blamed all of this on you. He said that if you didn't remove his wife's uterus, Li Hong wouldn't be infertile. She didn't finish her sentence, but Su Qing-sang understood. What did Director Sun say? She comforted Li Hong's husband, but he didn't listen to her. I don't know who told him that. He heard that you were the first doctor to see him, and that you treated Li Hong before. That's why he wanted to get even with you. Su Qing-sang nodded to show that she understood. All right, I got it. Thank you. It's not that. The whole family came in a menacing manner. You should pay attention to them. Su Qing-sang had been working in the department for a few months, and the people in the department all liked her. Li Meilin felt that she had the obligation to remind Su Qing-sang since she had just received a gift from them. Where are they now? They made a scene on Friday. You weren't there, so Director Sun persuaded them to stop. They knew that most doctors don't work on weekends, so they went home. But yesterday, when Li Hong's husband came to see Li Hong, he walked around the department again. I think he came to see you. Thank you. I got it. Su Qing-sang nodded, but didn't take it to heart. People had come to the hospital to make trouble before. When she was in Lin City, Zhang Mei and Lu Xiangyu's families were also unreasonable. Everything was fine in the end. The hospital was a place for treatment. The treatment plan was fine, and the family members had agreed to it. When they signed the contract, they had explained clearly that they had to ensure the patient's safety. In Li Hong's condition, even if they didn't remove her uterus, she wouldn't be able to survive. The impact caused by the car accident was not an ordinary impact. If they didn't remove the uterus, they would be in danger. After thinking about that, Su Qing went to tend to her own work. The hospital was very busy, and there were many things to do every day. Besides, she was with Sun Huiya. Sun Huiya wasn't in the hospital every day. She was still a professor at Rome City Medical University. Sun Huiya had several research projects in her hands. Su Qing was particularly interested in one of them. She had agreed to do research with Sun Huiya. She had to focus on the patients, so she didn't take it to heart that Li Hong's husband came to make trouble. Not only did she not take it to heart, but she even went to Li Hong's ward to see her after lunch. That day, she was in a hurry to go home to pack, so she didn't stay to wait for Li Hong to wake up. She believed that Sun Huiya had already told Li Hong about the situation. Li Meilin said the same thing when she asked her. She said that Sun Huiya had explained it to Li Hong, and that Li Hong had accepted it. However, her husband didn't accept it. After resting for a few days, Li Hong's body had recovered a little. There was no one in the ward. Su Qing looked around. She closed her eyes and rested by herself. Her daughter was on the small bed next to her. Due to the shortage of hospital beds and the high number of pregnant women, Li Hong didn't stay in a single room, but a room for two. The other patient had just left the hospital that morning, so Li Hong was the only one left in the ward. Li Hong, I'm here to see you. Although she had rested for a few days, Li Hong's face was still very pale. Hearing Su Qing's voice, she turned around and was surprised to see Su Qing. I was your surgeon that day. You didn't wake up, so I left after work. Then I took a vacation. That's why I came to see you today. Director Sun had already checked Li Hong's room that morning, but Director Sun had told her not to come. She didn't know what Director Sun meant until now. He didn't want her to have any conflict with the patient's family. Are you that Dr. Su? After Li Hong was born, she stayed in the hospital alone for a long time. She had heard that she had a daughter. At first, she was quite disappointed. After all, her husband's family was waiting for her to have a son. However, since she could have a second child now, she asked someone to bring the baby to her. She was told that the baby was in an incubator and asked her to rest well before going to see the baby. She didn't mind and accepted it easily. However, her body was too weak, so she quickly fell asleep again. Before she fell asleep, she kept asking the nurse to call her husband over. In the end, when she was in a daze, her husband woke her up. Tell me, are you a pig? Huh? Are you a pig? I told you to touch the porcelain. Why did you do it? Huh? What did I do? It was her husband's idea to touch the porcelain. He said that cars weren't fast nowadays, and she was pregnant. At that time, if she were to lie down on the ground, wouldn't people obediently pay when they saw the pregnant woman? Because Li Hong was pregnant, many drivers knew that she didn't hit the porcelain, but they were afraid that something might happen to her, so they paid her. Especially those who drove luxury cars. Time was precious. She was even more reckless. Those people were rich, and they didn't want to spend time collecting evidence or coming to the hospital. Li Hong had been safe for a long time. The only time she failed was when Zhang Yiqin tried to touch her. She wanted to blackmail him, but he ran away. She failed. This was the second time. She had acted alone both times. It wasn't like this had never happened before. But this time, something really happened. She didn't know what to do until she was knocked into the air. She looked at Su Qing with gratitude in her eyes. Dr. Su, thank you. Thank you for saving my life. I heard it from Director Sunday. She said that you saved me. You're welcome. I wasn't the one who saved you. Director Sun and the other colleagues in my department helped you. Dr. Su, you're welcome. Li Hong had been through life and death in the past few days. She got into an argument with her husband. Her mentality was different from a month ago. Thank you, really. If Su Qing hadn't made the decision in time, she would have been dead. She knew that. You're welcome. Take care of yourself. Su Qing glanced at the baby beside her. How come it's out of the incubator so early? Did you ask Director Sun? Did she agree? Yes, she agreed. Li Hong looked at her daughter with love in her eyes. She's very obedient. She eats and sleeps and eats. The baby was so small, and her cries sounded like a cat's meowing. All kids are like that at this age. Su Qing moved closer to Li Hong's daughter. It had only been a few days, but the little girl's face looked much prettier than when she was born. Su Qing-sang was a little tempted. Li Hong and her husband weren't very good-looking, but their daughter was so adorable. If it was her and Hua Jinyao's child, she wasn't being narcissistic. Hua Jinyao's child would be very beautiful, wouldn't it? It would be. Maybe she could talk to Hua Jinyao and have a child together? Take good care of your daughter. I'm going back to my office. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Su. Li Hong nodded. She thought of something and looked a little embarrassed. Dr. Su. Yes. If my man says something mean to you, just pretend you didn't hear it. Don't mind him. It's okay. I understand. She had encountered this kind of situation before when she was in Lin City. There was no shortage of patriarchal families and husbands in China. Li Hong felt a little embarrassed. Su Qing-sang patted her arm. All right, go rest. I'm going to come and see you. I'm leaving. Su Qing-sang turned around to leave, but she wasn't very lucky. She bumped into Li Hong's husband at the door. He was on his way to deliver food to Li Hong. He was stunned for a moment when he saw Su Qing-sang in a white coat, but he quickly remembered who the woman in front of him was. Chapter 528. Su Qing-sang's photo was hung on the wall outside the obstetrics and gynecology department. Li Hong's husband had talked to an obstetrics doctor. Sun Huiya had tried to persuade him for a long time, but it was only superficial. Even when Sun Huiya told him that she was the one who performed the surgery, he didn't believe her. He knew that Sun Huiya was a chief physician. If she was a chief physician, she must have some connections. Su Qing-sang was different. He had talked to a new doctor. He couldn't do anything to a chief physician, but a junior doctor? Yes, it's you. It's you. Li Hong's husband put down the thermos and stepped in front of Su Qing-sang. Su Qing-sang was surprised. She looked at Li Hong's husband and frowned. What's up? Huh? What's up? Of course. As Li Hong's husband spoke, he rolled up his sleeves and clenched his fists. Su Qing-sang frowned and watched him without saying a word. Li Hong, who was lying on the bed, called out, Lin Gang, what are you doing? What am I doing? Li Hong's husband, Lin Gang, looked at Su Qing-sang and pointed at her nose with his index finger. I'm asking you, did you cut out my wife's uterus? Su Qing-sang looked at Lin Gang and nodded. Yes, I did. Good. You admitted it. Lin Gang nodded. Let me ask you again. Who gave you the right to do that? Who allowed you to cut out my wife's uterus? Mr. Lin, I need to explain to you that your wife was in a very dangerous situation. If we didn't cut out her uterus, her life might be in danger. Do you understand? You mean it's possible? Yes. So, it's not 100%? Lin Gang pointed at her. If it's not 100%, then who gave you the right to do that? Tell me. Because his hand almost touched the tip of her nose, Su Qing-sang took a step back and said, Mr. Lin, calm down. I said it's possible because we doctors don't always say everything. But your wife's condition. Enough. I don't want to hear it. Lin Gang took another step forward. I'm telling you, you cut out my wife's uterus. You have to take responsibility. Responsible? Su Qing-sang looked at him. How do you want to be responsible? How can I take responsibility? It was simple. You must compensate me with a son. Lin Gang had found the so-called heavenly master, who said that Li Hong would definitely have a son. This debt had to be settled one by one. Now that the Taoist master was done, it was Su Qing-sang's turn. Su Qing-sang looked at the man in front of her, whose hand was almost about to poke her again, and tried to take another step back. Mr. Lin, please don't be unreasonable, okay? Making trouble out of nothing? I'll show you how unreasonable I am today. After saying that, Lin Gang raised his fist and punched at Su Qing-sang's face. Su Qing-sang didn't expect that he would hit her. Of course, she wouldn't stand there and let him hit her. She took a few steps back and dodged his fist. Meng Jian didn't expect Su Qing-sang to dodge his attack. He became angrier and angrier. You damn quack. You ruined my wife and my family. I'll beat you to death. As he spoke, he rushed at Su Qing-sang. Li Hong saw him and yelled, Lin Gang, what are you doing? Stop right now. Shut up. Bitch, it's none of your business. Lin Gang had been suppressing his anger for days. Today, he had to vent it out. Su Qing-sang watched him run to her and walk to the other side of the bed. But that side was even worse. She stared at Lin Gang and said coldly, "Mr. Lin, if you do this again, I'll call the police." "Call the police. Go ahead. Even if I have to go to jail, I'll beat you to death, you quack. You ruined my son." Lin Gang's fist was already coming at Su Qing-sang. Su Qing-sang instinctively raised her hand to block it. However, the punch didn't come. Li Hong jumped off the bed. She didn't even put on her shoes. She held Lin Gang's waist tightly and wouldn't let go. "Lin Gang, stop it. Bitch, let go of me." Lin Gang reached for Li Hong's hand as he spoke. Li Hong suddenly lost her temper. "Let go of me? Let go of me? Huh?" She pushed Lin Gang hard and stared at him fiercely. "If you want to hit me, you could go to the police station. That's your business. Don't drag me into this. I'm still in my confinement. What are you doing? What are you doing? Bitch, you what? What?" Li Hong had seen her husband's attitude these days. She asked him to take care of her, but he wouldn't do it. Look, it's already past mealtime, and he's only bringing her food. Other people's women gave birth to children and served them well, but what about him? Lin Gang, you have to have conscience. If you didn't come up with that stupid idea, would I have been hit by a car? Would I have been born prematurely? Would I have had to have my uterus removed? So you agreed, didn't you? I agreed. I agreed, but I regret it. But I regret it. Ever since Li Hong found out that she had a daughter, she had been holding it in. Lin Gang scolded her for being useless. Her parents-in-law didn't even look at her when they found out that she had a daughter. Lin Gang scolded her all day long. He said that she had given birth to a waste of money and that she was stupid. She had had enough. I regret it. I wanted to quit a long time ago. You were the one who said that I could make money fast. I need to save money to raise my son. Didn't you say that? I wanted to quit a long time ago. Li Hong suddenly burst into tears. She squatted on the ground helplessly. I regret it. I really regret it. I shouldn't have listened to you. Why did I listen to you? I shouldn't have listened to you. She didn't care about herself, but the poor baby was. The baby was supposed to stay in the incubator, but Lin Gang insisted that it was a waste of money to keep the baby in the incubator. He brought his daughter here. "You bitch, what are you yelling about? Get out of my way. I'm going to kill this quack doctor today." Lin Gang looked guilty, but he didn't want to admit defeat. He pointed at Li Hong. "Get out of my way. Do you hear me? Go ahead, go ahead. Kill me too." Li Hong suddenly sat up. Come on. Just beat me to death. Hit me. I don't want to live anyway. What a miserable life I've been living. Why don't I want to die? Why?" Li Hong kicked him as she spoke. "Tell me, would you be happier if I had killed both of us? Tell me." Lin Gang dodged her kick and raised his hand. "Bitch, I'm warning you. Don't think that I won't dare to hurt you. I'm telling you Before he could finish his sentence, Li Hong suddenly fell to the ground. "Bitch, don't play dead. Do you think I'll let go?" Su Qing-sang stepped forward, looked at the mess in front of her, and glared at Lin Gang. "Enough. Don't you see that her wound is open again? Get out of my way if you don't want her to die." She was really angry. Seeing this farce up to this point, what else could she not understand? This bitch is just playing dead. Lin Gang wanted to say something, but his voice became weaker. Su Qing-sang couldn't care less about him now. She looked at Lin Gang, who was standing still like a piece of wood. She called a nurse and a caretaker to help, then asked them to carry Li Hong to the clinic for a checkup. The wound was open again. But why did she faint? She guessed that it was because she was too angry and didn't have enough blood. Su Qing-sang took care of the wound immediately and stitched it up. After a while, she was soaked in sweat. When she was finally done, she asked someone to take Li Hong back to the ward. Su Qing-sang wiped the sweat on her forehead. She didn't expect things to turn out like this. She still remembered that Li Hong fiercely grabbed Zhang Yichen's hand and demanded that he take responsibility. What happened today changed Su Qing-sang's impression of Li Hong. Back in her office, she was still worried, so she asked Li Meilin to keep an eye on Li Hong. She had thought that the matter would be over after it had come to this. After all, Li Hong was in such a state. If Lin Gang still had a conscience, he wouldn't come to make trouble again. However, Su Qing-sang underestimated how shameless people could be. She thought that the matter was over, but she didn't know that her name was on the local Weibo hot search list that night. 2 photos of her were posted on Weibo. One of them was her holding Li Hong, trying to lift the unconscious Li Hong up. But because of the angle, it didn't look like she was trying to lift Li Hong up. If someone who didn't know what was going on saw the photos, he or she might think that the worry and anxiety on her face were because of guilt. That was always written on the Weibo post. Doctor insulted patient, worsening patient's condition. None of the following articles was true. The main idea was that Su Qing-sang had chased the patient into the ward and insulted the patient, which made the patient so agitated that her stitches continued to split open. The reason why Su Qing-sang insulted the patient was because the patient was suspected of faking an accident. Then, the article asked, can a doctor discriminate against a patient? Could a doctor insult a patient because of who she was? There was no video, just because of a few photos, which seemed to be right, but were not. Su Qing-sang was cursed by the keyboard users. The doctor-patient relationship was tense. Then, a video like this was posted. Then, another Weibo post revealed some shocking news. What was the point of saying that Su Qing-sang insulted the patient? She even removed the patient's uterus because of a personal grudge. The content was quite shocking. The main idea was that Su Qing-sang knew the patient was faking an accident. Therefore, after the patient was hit by a car, Su Qing-sang removed the patient's uterus on purpose, even though the patient's uterus was still intact. That was why the patient lost her right to be a mother. The two Weibo posts caused a huge uproar. Not only the keyboard users on Weibo, but also the haters were cursing. Lin Gang also went to the hospital and told them that Su Qing-sang had a conflict with the patient in the ward, which made the patient so agitated that her body split open. Su Qing-sang had a minor operation scheduled in the afternoon. When she finished the operation and walked out of the operating room, the incident had already become a big deal. Because Su Qing-sang was in the middle of the operation, the hospital didn't call her for a talk. When she finished the operation, the leaders of the hospital office already knew about it. At the same time, they called Sun Huiya, Su Qing-sang, and a few other doctors who had participated in Li Hong's rescue last time to the office of the hospital office. Su Qing-sang was the last one to arrive. When she arrived, the office was already occupied by many people. Deputy Director Zhou Xiaonan, Director Chun, and Director Huang. Sun Huiya, Shun Lingyun, Yang Lu, Li Meilin, and He Shuli were also there. Su Qing-sang had just taken off her surgical gown. Looking at the crowd in front of her, she still didn't understand what had happened. She didn't check Weibo or the news. She had no idea what had happened. However, as soon as she came out, she was called here. She looked at the leaders, then at Sun Huiya, and greeted all of them. When she was about to find a seat, someone called her. Zhou Xiaonan looked at Su Qing-sang. He knew a little about Su Qing-sang. She hadn't been here for a long time, but she had a good reputation. She also had a good reputation in the gynecology and obstetrics department. This incident was an accident. They could understand that Su Qing-sang, as a new doctor, might have some emotional impulses. However, they were willing to give Su Qing-sang a chance. Dr. Su, regarding this incident, we hope that you can give us an explanation first. The first hospital of the city didn't rush to make a decision about firing Su Qing-sang or punishing her. The first hospital of the city was not in a hurry to make a decision to fire Su Qing-sang or punish her. Instead, they wanted to give her a chance to explain. What is it? Su Qing-sang really didn't understand. She couldn't help but look at Sun Huiya. Sun Huiya also knew that Su Qing-sang was unlucky this time. The hysterectomy had nothing to do with her. However, she also wanted to hear what Su Qing-sang had to say about the conflict in the ward and the incident that was filmed and posted on the internet. Li Meilin kindly took out her phone, scrolled through the two Weibo posts, and handed them to Su Qing-sang. Su Qing-sang only took a glance and was stunned. What kind of news was this? She patiently read through the content of the Weibo post and read a few of the comments below. Finally, she returned the phone to Li Meilin and thanked her. When she turned around and met Zhou Xiaonan's gaze, she stood up and said, "Director Zhou, I can explain this matter." Su Qing-sang glanced at Sun Huiya and told him about the situation when Li Hong was sent to the hospital. At that time, The pregnant woman's uterus was ruptured, and she was bleeding profusely. The amount of bleeding kept increasing. We had no choice but to take such measures. Director Sun can also testify from me on this matter. Okay. Zhou Xiaonan nodded and said, I heard about this from Director Sunday. I believe that you did it to save the pregnant woman's life. So what happened this afternoon? Li Hong is my patient. As the chief surgeon, I was concerned about her postoperative condition, but I didn't expect that I would run into her husband, Lin Gang. Su Qingsang told him what had happened, including that Lin Gang wanted to hit her, and she moved to the other side of the bed to avoid him. When Lin Gang was about to hit her, Li Hong rushed over and had a conflict with Lin Gang. She was so angry that she ended up in this situation. That's how it turned out. Director Zhou, please believe me. As a professional doctor, I would never insult a pregnant woman. No matter who the pregnant woman is, whether she is a scammer or a criminal, a doctor's duty is to save lives. It has nothing to do with the patient's profession. This is something we've sworn to do when we were studying medicine. Director Zhou glanced at the other two leaders of the hospital and exchanged a look with them. Of course, they were willing to believe the doctors in their hospital and Su Qingsang. However, since things had come to this, the hospital had to show their attitude. Okay, don't be nervous. We asked you to come here to find out what happened. If what you said is true, our hospital will take appropriate measures against the content of the Weibo, including the pregnant woman's family. Thank you, Director Zhou. Su Qingsang nodded. She realized that she was really unlucky, but she didn't panic. With Li Hong's words and her experience in Lin City, she believed that this matter would be solved successfully. Since the people in the hospital wanted to prove Su Qingsang's innocence and the first hospital's innocence, they had to solve this matter as soon as possible. Nowadays, any news related to the doctor-patient relationship would attract a lot of attention, especially since this matter had attracted some reporters to come and interview them. Fortunately, Director Zhou responded in time. He told the reporters that they would accept the interview after finding out the truth. That stopped the reporters from rushing to the hospital. Since that's what the pregnant woman said, let's go find her and ask her about it. Then we'll report it to the media and let them know the quality of our doctors. Su Qingsang nodded. She also wanted to prove her innocence as soon as possible. Although she knew it would happen sooner or later, she still felt that she was unlucky to be the scapegoat all the time. They left the hospital. Zhou Xiaonan thought for a while and decided to go to the hospital himself. Sun Huiya was also concerned about this matter. Zhou Xiaonan, Director Chun, Director Huang, and Su Qingsang went to find Li Hong. It was past the working hours, but there were still many nurses and doctors on duty in the hospital. Seeing such a majestic group of people, they were all a little surprised, especially Deputy Director Zhou. Although he was the deputy director, he was in charge of some of the hospital's daily affairs. Some people followed behind Zhou Xiaonan, wanting to know what was going on. Suddenly, there were more and more people. Doctors followed them, and so did some family members who came to see the patient after work. Zhou Xiaonan wanted to drive them away, but he thought that it was better to explain it in front of so many people. Su Qingsang walked in the front. She didn't feel anxious or uneasy. She had just stitched up Li Hong's wound. She should have woken up after an afternoon. She just needed to ask and explain, and it would be over. Su Qingsang thought about how Li Hong protected her behind her and thought that it wouldn't be hard to solve. She just needed to explain it. When they arrived at Li Hong's ward, Li Hong had just woken up. The wound that hadn't fully healed was stitched up again. Her face was paler than it was at noon, and she looked weak. As soon as Su Qingsang walked in, Lin Gang walked over. "You quack, what are you doing here?" "Sir, please calm down." Executive Zhou was the youngest and the oldest. He walked in the front and looked at Lin Gang, who was about to rush over and beat Li Hong. "We're here to ask you something. What do you want to know?" Lin Gang stared at Su Qingsang, his face full of resentment. "My wife is in this state because of her. What else do you want to know?" Zhou Xiaonan already knew how unreasonable Lin Gang could be. If he was reasonable, he wouldn't have asked his pregnant wife to blackmail him. He didn't look at Lin Gang, but at Li Hong. "Ms. Li, nice to meet you. Our Dr. Su came here to see you at noon and treated your wound. How are you now?" Executive Zhou's question was skillful. First, he made it clear that Su Qingsang only came to see Li Hong and did a good deed. As long as Li Hong followed his words, she wouldn't make a mistake. Su Qingsang looked at Li Hong, waiting for her to speak. Li Hong was lying on the bed. Her face was pale, and she looked extremely weak. When she met Su Qingsang's gaze, she swallowed with some difficulty, and then tears flowed down her cheeks. "Dr. Su, why did you do this to me? I only blackmailed you. I had a car accident, and I've been punished. Why didn't you let me go? Why did you come to my ward and scold me?" Li Hong's sudden accusation stunned Su Qingsang. She stared at Li Hong blankly, unable to believe what she had just heard. "Li Hong, do you know what you're talking about? Dr. Su, I beg you. Please let me go." She was completely different from the Li Hong who had stood in front of her and said righteously at noon. The Li Hong in front of Su Qingsang seemed to be a completely different person. "Li Hong, don't slander me. You know it's not like that. Dr. Su, I was wrong. I was really wrong. I know I was wrong. I've been punished. I don't even have a uterus now. I'm not a complete woman anymore. Why didn't you let me go?" Li Hong's face was pale. Lying on the bed, she was crying and blaming Su Qingsang. Even Sun Huiya, who believed in Su Qingsang's innocence, couldn't help but feel that Su Qingsang was in a miserable state. Not to mention the other colleagues who had come with her. Yes, a lot of people had gathered outside the ward, except for the doctors, nurses, and the patient's family members who had come to see what had happened. Some pregnant women and their family members in the ward next door also came to see what was going on. Everyone was gathered there, staring at the inside. They all clearly heard what Li Hong had said. Her wound had just opened and was stitched up again. She didn't care about that. She asked Lin Gang to help her sit up and pointed at Su Qingsang. "Look, this doctor treated me like this just because I faked a car accident to get admitted to the hospital. Look at her. That's what doctors are like nowadays." Li Hong's voice was weak, but it didn't stop her from complaining. Some of the patient's family members took pictures of the scene. Su Qingsang didn't notice that there were so many people behind her. She just stared at Li Hong, and Chapter 529. Director Chun and Director Huang quickly stepped forward and blocked the cell phone cameras at the door. "Stop it! Stop it!" Director Chun was a little anxious. He stepped forward to block the cameras. However, it was useless. The doctors and nurses realized what was going on as well. They tried to stop the patients and their families from taking pictures. The more they tried to stop them, the more excited they were. More and more patients' families came to the door. Su Qingsang stood there, and it took her a minute to come back to her senses. She took a deep breath to calm herself down. She didn't want to get angry or talk easily. Her sharp eyes fell on Li Hong's crying face. "Li Hong, please feel your conscience." Su Qingsang couldn't help but be angry. She didn't expect that Li Hong would be waiting for her. "Did I come to scold you? Who stitched up your wound when split open? Who did it?" Her voice wasn't loud, but her eyes were especially sharp. Li Hong, on the other hand, shrunk her neck as if she was scared. "I'm telling the truth. It's useless to threaten me. You came here to scold me. Tell me, what did I scold you about?" Su Qingsang couldn't help but take a step forward. "Can you make it clear? You know what's going on. Do you think lying will help you?" "I didn't lie. It's you. It's you." Li Hong's voice was hoarse. Her face was covered in tears, making her look like a weak person. "Dr. Su, I really know I was wrong. Please don't scold me. I've paid the price. I won't do it again. Really, Li Hong." Su Qingsang raised her voice. She stared at Li Hong with anger in her eyes. "Look, the doctor is threatening people." Lin Gang jumped up. He was still holding Li Hong with both hands. He pointed at Su Qingsang angrily. Look at this person. Look. She's a doctor. A doctor. How can she threaten a patient like this? Have you seen it? Huh? Look." Su Qingsang clenched her fists. She stood there, not in a hurry to move. She pursed her lips and tried to calm down. She remembered a post she had seen on Weibo. It said that it was getting harder and harder to be a doctor in China. Not only was the doctor-patient relationship tense, but doctors often had to bear some grievances that did not belong to them. But this was not grievance. This was injustice. The whispers outside were getting louder and louder. Su Qingsang couldn't calm down. If this continued, What kind of rumors would those bystanders who didn't know the situation spread? Li Hong. Su Qing-sang took a step forward and said, "Can you stop talking nonsense? Do you know Dr. Su?" Zhou Xiaonan glanced at Su Qing-sang. The hospital didn't expect things to turn out this way. None of them had expected things to turn out like this. In such a short time, Zhou Xiaonan called the hospital's security guards and a few nurses from the obstetrics and gynecology department to persuade the crowd to disperse. It was already nighttime. Some people saw that the matter couldn't be resolved, so they left first. There were also a few stubborn ones who stood far away to watch the show. In the end, only Chief Chun, Chief Wang, and Zhou Xiaonan were left. They followed Sun Huiya back to the ward. They all looked at Li Hong and Lin Gang with serious faces. "Ms. Li Hong, there's no one else here. We just want to know what happened. You can calm down and tell us what happened." I made myself clear. Li Hong's voice was weak, but it didn't affect her accusation. "You don't need to say it again." Zhou Xiaonan frowned. He felt helpless about Li Hong's behavior. "But I don't think you're telling the truth." "The truth? The truth is that she scolded me. My husband tried to protect me and had a conflict with her. I didn't want to offend the doctor. When I tried to stop her, the wound opened." Li Hong insisted that Su Qing-sang had scolded her and wouldn't change her words. "Ms. Li," Chief Chin said, but was interrupted. "Don't ask. You should go and deal with this doctor. She has no medical ethics, but she still works as a doctor." "Ms. Li," Chief Huang couldn't bear it anymore. It was obvious that this matter was fake. Li Hong was just a blackmailer. Even if she was a murderer, she would be treated in the hospital. Patients' privacy and gossip had nothing to do with doctors. Doctors were only responsible for saving lives. "You said that your wound opened because of Dr. Su. Do you have any proof?" "Isn't my wound the proof?" Li Hong stared at the people in front of her. "If she hadn't scolded me, if I hadn't tried to stop her from having a conflict with my husband, my wound wouldn't have opened." "Li Hong, you know that your husband wanted to hit me, and you tried to stop him." Su Qing-sang couldn't help but defend herself. Li Hong looked at her, confused. "Why did my husband hit you?" "Because of the previous operation, you thought I removed your uterus. Your husband's family wanted you to have a son." "Who said that?" Lin Gang stared at Su Qing-sang and said sarcastically, "Don't you know how much I love my daughter? Look, I didn't even let the nurses take care of her. I brought her to my side to take care of her." Su Qing-sang wanted to say something, but Sun Huiya pressed on her arm to stop her. Seeing Sun Huiya's action, Lin Gang felt that he had the upper hand. He looked more and more smug. "I'm telling you, I'm going to the sanitary bureau to complain about you." Lin Gang finally found his courage. He pointed at Su Qing-sang and said, "Especially you. If I don't make you lose your license, I'm not a doctor. My surname is not Lin. Mr. Lin, please be careful. This is a hospital, not a place for you to make a scene." Sun Huiya frowned. Lin Gang's shameless family gave her a headache. "Am I making a scene? I'm just stating a fact." Lin Gang was more confident now. He stared at Su Qing-sang, his eyes full of provocation. "You're such a quack. It's not too much to kill you." Su Qing-sang couldn't bear it anymore. Before she could do anything, Sun Huiya had already pulled her out of the office. "Director Sun, don't pull me." Sun Huiya was strong enough to drag Su Qing-sang back to her office. "That's enough." Sun Huiya sat Su Qing-sang down on her seat and said firmly, "You stay here. You don't have to get involved in the rest." "Director Sun, haven't you noticed? If you stay here, the more you get involved, the more trouble they'll make. I don't believe you can't see that they're targeting you on purpose." Su Qing-sang stopped talking. What happened today was her fault. She neglected how shameless people could be. She thought that Li Hong would stand up for her like she did at noon and take the hit for her. She thought that Li Hong was really grateful to her. What could be closer than a husband and wife? She didn't care why Li Hong chose to stand against Su Qing-sang. What she was thinking about now was how to solve the problem perfectly. She had a feeling that this problem would be much more difficult to solve than the one in Lin City. "Director Sunday, I'm not lying." Su Qing-sang didn't expect other people to believe her, but she hoped that the people in the hospital and her department would believe her. "Director Sunday, believe me, that's enough." Sun Huiya patted her on the shoulder. You don't have to explain. We all believe you. Although Su Qing-sang had only been here for a short time, Sun Huiya trusted her character. You're unlucky this time. Go home and rest. We'll see what the hospital will do. Even though Su Qing-sang was worried, she could only let it go. She took off her white coat and checked Weibo one more time before leaving the office. Okay, there were thousands of shares and tens of thousands of comments. Now, there were tens of thousands of shares and nearly 100,000 comments. This scene was exactly the same as the last time. The only difference was that the last time was in Lin City. This time it was in Rong City. She rubbed her eyebrows and looked at the keyboard users scolding her. Su Qing-sang was used to it, but she couldn't help but feel sad. Why did things like this always happen to her? What did she do wrong? She just wanted to be a doctor. She just wanted to be a good doctor. Su Qing-sang's eyes were a little sore, but she quickly suppressed that emotion. There was always a way out. She didn't believe that she would always be so unlucky. Hua Jinyao saw the news on Weibo after he got off work. Xiaohong's case hadn't come to an end yet, but Hui Yifan couldn't help it. He seemed to think that the position of CEO was already in his bag. Hua Jinyao was curious about how Hua Mingguang, who had been quiet and pretended to be deaf, would deal with it. He told Yang Wenchang some arrangements in advance, then told him about Xiaohong's suspicious points. If Su Qing-sang could think of it, he could think of it too. Anyway, there must be something wrong with Xiaohong, and it was a big problem. After making all the arrangements, he was about to leave when Ding Qing came in. President Hua. Miss Ding, what's up? Hua Jinyao believed what Ding Qing said last time. He wasn't as cold to Ding Qing as he was yesterday. President Hua, I think something happened to Mrs. Hua. What? President Hua, look at this. Ding Qing handed the phone to Hua Jinyao while speaking. I saw the local news just now, so I clicked on it. Hua Jinyao didn't say anything. He looked at the two posts that had been shared tens of thousands of times and thought of what happened in Lin City. In Lin City, Su Qing-sang got into trouble because of Su Peijian. More importantly, other than Su Peijian, Li Qinxue was also behind the scenes. But that was in Rong City. Su Peijian wasn't in Rong City, so it was impossible for Li Qinxue to deal with Su Qing-sang. President Hua? Yang Wenchang saw it too, and he didn't look happy either. Tell the PR department to take this down from the hot search list. No matter what, take it down. One more thing, delete that Weibo post. President Hua, it's useless to delete it now. This is big news. Yeah, it's big news. Is it true? You and I both know that it's not true. Since it's not true, why can't we take it down? Yang Wenchang nodded. He immediately understood what Hua Jinyao meant. President Hua, I understand. I'll take care of it as soon as possible. Keep it under wraps for now. Do it fast. Got it. Yang Wenchang nodded and thought of something else. President Hua, we could delete the Weibo post and keep it under wraps, but the patient's family, go and talk to them and see what's going on. Hua Jinyao really wanted to know who was so stupid to mess with Su Qing-sang again. Thinking about what had happened, Su Qing-sang must be in a bad mood. He couldn't sit still and left quickly. Let me know if anything happens. I'm going back now. Yang Wenchang knew that he was in a hurry to go home and comfort Su Qing-sang. Yang Wenchang followed Hua Jinyao's order. Ding Qing was left behind, holding the Weibo page in her hand. After a while, a new Weibo post popped up. It was under the previous two Weibo posts. A family member leaked the news. Su Qing-sang chased the patient to the ward and insulted the patient. This is really a good piece of news. Unfortunately, Su Qing-sang's face couldn't be seen in the video, but her expression must be very interesting. Ding Qing almost wanted to like it, but in the end, she calmly took a screenshot of the new Weibo post and posted the picture. She added a sentence. Hua Jinyao is asking people to delete the Weibo post to suppress the public opinion. After that, she didn't wait for the other party's reply. She also tidied up Hua Jinyao's office. She looked at the picture frame on the desk. Su Qing-sang and Hua Jinyao were cuddling in the picture frame. They weren't smiling, but it felt good. Ding Qing flicked her finger on the picture frame. Her phone rang. She picked it up and glanced at it. When she received the message from the other party, she smiled brightly. Now, She couldn't wait to see what would happen next. Her eyes fell on the photo of Hu Jinyao and Su Qingsang. She smiled strangely and said, President Hua, President Hua, I really want to know what you're going to do next. When Hu Jinyao got home, he found that Su Qingsang wasn't in the living room. He went to the room and looked around, but there was still no one there. He frowned and took out his phone to call Su Qingsang, but no one answered. Mizzy was almost done cooking. When she saw him coming home, she greeted him, Sir, you're back. Let me serve the dishes, and then we can eat. Mizzy, do you know where Qingsang is? Mrs.? Mrs. hasn't come back yet. Hu Jinyao's heart was in his throat. What did that mean? Was she still in the hospital? Fortunately, he had saved Sun Huiya's phone number. Now, he called Sun Huiya and asked her if Su Qingsang was still in the hospital. Hua. Sun Huiya had met Hu Jinyao twice before and felt very good about him. Qingsang asked her to go back first. Isn't she home yet? She might have just left. She didn't answer your call. Maybe she's driving. Why don't you wait a little longer? Okay, I got it. As long as she was fine. Hu Jinyao thought of something and suddenly said, Director Sun, can I ask you something? What is it? Don't be shy. Just ask. Can you tell me what kind of punishment Qingsang will face now? Look at what you're saying. The hospital hasn't made a decision yet. As for the specifics, we'll have to wait until the investigation is done. Don't you think so? Okay, I understand. Thank you, Director Sunday. Hu Jinyao hung up the phone. He knew that Su Qingsang couldn't have gotten home so early. Although he was worried, he could only wait. To his surprise, Su Qingsang still hadn't come back after an hour. 2 hours later, Su Qingsang still hadn't come back. It wasn't that Su Qingsang didn't want to go home. She just didn't want to bring her negative emotions home. She couldn't understand what had gone wrong. Why did things like this always happen to her? Was it because the patient's family was too weird, or was it because she was too unlucky? She wanted to tell Hu Jinyao about it, but what would happen after she did? Su Qingsang remembered that Hu Jinyao seemed to be very busy with the company's affairs recently. Why would she bother him with such a small thing? Besides, if Hu Jinyao used extreme measures to make Li Hong change her story, would people believe that it was the truth? In such a short time, Li Hong had changed her words and turned the truth upside down. At that time, it was hard to guarantee that he wouldn't come out to accuse her again and say that she had changed her words because she was threatened. Without realizing it, Su Qingsang drove back to the small villa that Li Qinxue had bought for her. She didn't know how she got there. The villa was pitch black. Although there were people who came to clean it regularly, it was inevitable that there would be no people in a place where no one lived. She didn't enter the house. Instead, she laid the seat flat and lay there. She didn't know how long she had been lying there. When she was about to leave, she checked the time. She took out her phone and found that there were more than a dozen missed calls. Most of them were from Hu Jinyao. She stared at Hu Jinyao's photo on the screen and finally called it back. Honey, you're not home yet? Yes. Su Qingsang didn't want to lie, so she didn't want to lie to Hu Jinyao. Where are you? Did he get lost? Do you want me to pick you up? No need. I'll be back soon. Su Qingsang didn't realize that she had been lying in the car for nearly 2 hours. Come back quickly. Mrs. Yu's food is getting cold. Through the phone, Hu Jinyao didn't ask or say anything. Su Qingsang smiled. I'll be back soon. If you're hungry, you can eat first. It's okay. I'll wait for you. Okay. Su Qingsang hung up and looked at the other numbers. They were all from Sun Huiya. She thought for a while and called Sun Huiya. Sun Huiya told Su Qingsang that no matter what Zhou Xiaonan and Director Chen asked, Li Hong would insist that Su Qingsang insulted her first. Things were in a stalemate. The hospital was willing to believe in Su Qingsang's character, but things had turned out like this. Chapter 530. That's not entirely true. Sun Huiya shook her head. I've already told the hospital. I said that if we suspend you, wouldn't it mean that we have a guilty conscience? Of course, that's not appropriate. The hospital said that they would take another look. So, you can still come to work tomorrow. Okay, I got it. Su Qingsang had a minor surgery to do tomorrow. The surgery had already been arranged. That patient had been treated by her before. Even if there was no surgery, she didn't want to rest. Qing sang, "You've indeed been wronged in this matter, but don't worry. I believe that things will be resolved satisfactorily." "Okay, I know." Su Qing sang hung up the phone. Thinking of Sun Hui's protection of her, she felt a little touched. Speaking of which, she hadn't been working in Rong City for long, but Sun Hui and the other colleagues in the department had all taken care of her. If possible, she didn't want to leave the first hospital. She started the car again and left the villa. The road ahead was a villa area that had been developed a long time ago, so there weren't many people at night. The Hua family's old house was a little further away from here. It was in another direction, and the city was in the opposite direction. Su Qing sang turned a corner in front of her. Just as she was about to drive onto the main road, a figure suddenly rushed out from the side road. It was called a small road, but it was actually an aisle between two villa areas. Su Qing sang was shocked and immediately stepped on the brakes. At this moment, the person also put his hands on the headlights in front of her car. She didn't drive fast, so she didn't touch the person. Before she could react, the figure had already quickly circled to the other side of the car and got into the car. "Drive." Su Qing Sang's eyes widened as she looked at the familiar facial features in the darkness. She subconsciously stepped on the accelerator. Through the rearview mirror, she could see a few more figures rushing out from the small road behind her. If Su Qing Sang stopped the car and took a closer look, she would find that the leader was the mustache man from last time. However, Su Qing Sang obviously wasn't in the mood to take a closer look. Her hands that were holding the steering wheel turned white. She also stepped on the accelerator very quickly. The people behind didn't expect that someone would come to their rescue. After running a few steps, they realized that they couldn't catch up. For a moment, their expressions were quite ugly. "It's okay, they can't catch up. You can relax a little. You don't have to drive so fast." After making sure that the people behind her wouldn't follow her, Su Qing Sang finally slowed down at the corner ahead. She finally turned around and looked at the person who got in her car. Zhang Yichen. Last time, he was hiding in the hot spring club. Now, it was the same situation again, and she had encountered it twice. "It seems that every time I meet you, your situation is very special." When Zhang Yichen put his hands on the headlights to avoid being hit by the car, he didn't see it clearly because of the reflection. After his eyes got used to the light, he saw that it was Su Qing Sang. He could have escaped by another route, and his comrades were there too. However, he still got into her car as if he was possessed. "Yes, that was right. I got lucky. I meet you every time." Zhang Yichen's words seemed to imply something. Su Qing Sang couldn't bring herself to laugh. "So according to what you're saying, I'm unlucky. You think it's bad luck that you met me?" Su Qing Sang nodded and said, "That's right. Of course I'm unlucky to have met you." Last time, she could have left work and went to stitch up his comrade's wounds. Last time, she was enjoying the hot spring, but he suddenly came out. And because he had seen her in her swimsuit, Hu Jinyao had bullied her inside and out. If that wasn't bad luck, what was it? Zhang Yichen didn't say anything. He looked at the road ahead. 2 more crossings, and they would reach the main road back to the city. "Since it's bad luck that you met me, you could drop me off in front." Su Qing Sang blinked her eyes and turned to look at him. "Uncle, are you angry?" "I'm just kidding." Even if she really felt that she was unlucky, she shouldn't have said it so directly. Zhang Yichen didn't say anything. He obviously didn't look happy. Su Qing Sang felt very uncomfortable. The atmosphere made her feel a little awkward. "Uncle, where are you going? Why don't I give you a ride?" Since she was already in the car, Su Qing Sang didn't mind being a good person to the end. Zhang Yichen thought about his original plan, to get the things and meet up with his comrades. But now he got her car. "It's so late. Why are you here alone? Are you here to see Uncle?" "No." Su Qing Sang thought about the reason why she came here, but she didn't know how to explain it to Zhang Yichen. "My mother bought me a house here. I left some things here, so I came to get them." Zhang Yichen didn't ask what they were. He looked at the time and said, "So you haven't eaten yet?" "Yes. I was going to go home and eat with Hu Jinyao." Su Qing Sang looked at Zhang Yichen and said politely, "Uncle, have you eaten yet?" "No." Su Qing Sang blinked her eyes. For the first time, she wondered if all soldiers were so honest and straightforward. "Well, if you don't mind, why don't we go home and eat together?" Hua Jinyao is home anyway. If Hua Jinyao wasn't home, she wouldn't have dared to bring him home, even though she knew that he was Hua Jinyao's uncle. She only asked out of politeness. If it were someone else, he might have said no. Okay. Zhang Yiqin answered without hesitation. Su Qingsang felt that this man really didn't know how to be polite. She just asked casually because he was a relative, but he took it seriously. Mizzy usually made 4 dishes and 1 soup. The portion wasn't very big. Hua Jinyao ate a lot. Should she make some noodles later? She had already begun to think that since she had invited the guest to her house, she should treat him well. She was driving now, so she didn't have time to call Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang brought him home directly. While waiting for Su Qingsang at home, Hua Jinyao didn't stop. He kept making phone calls and arranging some things. He also investigated some things. He hoped that he wasn't overthinking things. He felt that this whole thing was very similar to what happened in Lin City. Why did it seem like it was premeditated and targeted at Su Qingsang? Of course, it was also possible that it wasn't premeditated. It was just that she met a very shameless couple who deliberately wanted to blackmail her. Either way, for Su Qingsang, who had just arrived in Rong City and entered the first hospital, it wasn't a good thing. After arranging everything, he felt that there shouldn't be anything left out. Hua Jinyao began to think again. If it was premeditated, then who would do such a thing? When he heard the door open, Hua Jinyao stood up from the sofa. Honey, you're back. Uncle? Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang and then at Zhang Yiqin. He couldn't connect the two of them together. He looked back and forth between the two of them, then finally returned his eyes to Su Qingsang. Honey, when Zhang Yiqin saw Hua Jinyao, he took a step forward and said, Jinyao, Uncle, I just wanted to come and see you, but I ran into Qingsang, so we came up together. Zhang Yiqin knew about Hua Jinyao. Not only did he know, but he had also been here before and even lived here. Now that he put it that way, it made sense. Zhang Yiqin explained the situation before Su Qingsang opened her mouth. Su Qingsang glanced at him. She thought that he was probably on a secret mission and couldn't explain it clearly, so she didn't bother to correct him. She put down the car key and changed her shoes. Su Qingsang greeted Zhang Yiqin like the hostess of the house. Jinyao, Uncle hasn't eaten yet. I'll go heat up the food. Sit with Uncle for a while. Okay. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang. He wanted to ask her about the hospital, but since Zhang Yiqin was here, it wasn't appropriate. Su Qingsang went into the kitchen and quickly came out. She poured 2 glasses of juice. Uncle, have some juice first. The food will be ready soon. Thank you. Zhang Yiqin sat down on the sofa and watched Su Qingsang go into the kitchen again. Hua Jinyao sat down next to him. Why did you come to see me? You've been in Rome City a lot these past few months, haven't you? I have something to do. Zhang Yiqin's voice was calm. He didn't want to explain further. Hua Jinyao didn't need him to explain. Just pay attention to your own safety. Hua Jinyao thought of what Su Qingsang said last time. Qingsang said that she ran into you last time, and the situation was very dangerous. I know you don't listen to Grandaunt, not to mention me, but you should be careful. After all, Grandaunt and the others care about you very much. I know. Zhang Yiqin didn't expect Su Qingsang to tell Hua Jinyao about that. He was surprised for a moment, but also felt that it was reasonable. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao seemed to be quite close to each other. There shouldn't be any secrets between them, right? Su Qingsang only heated up the food. It didn't take much time. Jinyao, Uncle, it's time to eat. She was afraid that there wasn't enough rice, so she cooked some noodles. Do you want rice or noodles? Noodles. My wife cooked it. Of course I have to do it for her. There were outsiders here. Su Qingsang glanced at him. Before she asked Zhang Yiqin what he wanted to eat, he said, I'll eat noodles too. Su Qingsang didn't think much of it. Most northerners preferred noodles. Hua Jinyao watched Su Qingsang fill a bowl with noodles and put it in Zhang Yiqin's hand. He said proudly, You got lucky today. I can't bear to let Qingsang cook every day. Zhang Yiqin glanced at Su Qingsang, then looked at Hua Jinyao. Really? Then I'm in luck. Of course. Hua Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang, his eyes full of smiles. There was a gentleness in his smile that he didn't even notice. Zhang Yiqin saw it, but he didn't say anything. He picked up the bowl of noodles. It didn't taste very good, but it was a very homely taste. But he really felt that it was the most delicious thing in the world. It was the noodles cooked by Su Qing-sang. She was Hua Jinyao's wife. If she was, he stopped thinking. Some thoughts couldn't even be thought about. Zhang Yiqian looked down, and his mood suddenly became gloomy. Hua Jinyao didn't have time to care about Zhang Yiqian. He knew that Su Qing-sang had been wrong today, so he was more careful with her than usual. He took more care of her. Here, have some soup. Nourish yourself. You must be tired these days, right? You've been flying around. Here, have a piece of fish to replenish your energy. And this. Ms. Yu's braised prawns are delicious today. Here, I'll help you peel them. As he spoke, he began to peel the prawns for her. Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang couldn't help but look at Zhang Yiqian. Her uncle was still here. What was he doing? It's okay. Hua Jinyao put another piece of beef in her bowl. Uncle, you're one of us. Zhang Yiqian tightened his grip on the bowl and sounded a little uncomfortable. You two are so loving. Of course. Hua Jinyao blinked as he spoke. Speaking of which, Uncle, you should find one as well. Look at me. I'm so happy. Zhang Yiqian looked at Hua Jinyao and Su Qing-sang sitting together. He put some food in her bowl. She filled it for him. They were a handsome man and a beautiful woman. Hua Jinyao's face was full of love, while Su Qing-sang's eyes were full of shyness. The two of them sat there like a perfect couple. Her eyes dimmed a little. Not everyone can be as lucky as you. That's true. Hua Jinyao nodded and put his big hand on Su Qing-sang's shoulder. I think I'm very lucky too. Right, wife? Su Qing-sang's anger at the hospital in the afternoon had almost dissipated. She glanced at Hua Jinyao and signaled him to stop. Hua Jinyao was a man who didn't know when to stop. He leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. Hua Jinyao. His lips were covered in oil. Su Qing-sang couldn't help but glare at him. Sorry, I couldn't control myself. Hua Jinyao said that, but he didn't mean that he couldn't control himself at all. While eating, he didn't forget to tell Zhang Yiqian about the benefits of having a partner. Uncle, you're a few years older than me. You have to hurry up. You don't have to worry about me. Zhang Yiqian suddenly didn't want to continue this topic. He interrupted Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao knew that he always had his own ideas. Normally, he would have said it, but today he was in the mood. Uncle, I really don't want to say this, but this is the benefit of being married. Only a married person will be able to tell. Not to mention other things, it's so comfortable to sleep with my wife in my arms on such a cold day. Hua Jinyao. He was getting more and more ridiculous. Su Qing-sang glared at him. She looked a little embarrassed. Fortunately, Zhang Yiqian didn't react. Otherwise, it would be very embarrassing. Isn't there a heater? Zhang Yiqian had already eaten most of the noodles. Hua Jinyao didn't know what to say. Forget it. I won't rush you. Let Great Aunt worry about your affairs. Maybe when my son is crawling on the floor, you'll still be single. Hua Jinyao. Su Qing-sang glared at him again. Hua Jinyao smiled at her and said, It's okay. Wife, Uncle is one of us. He won't be angry, right, Uncle? Yes. Zhang Yiqian nodded slightly and didn't say anything else. After dinner, he went back to the living room with Zhang Yiqian. Su Qing-sang went to clean up the dishes. Although the noodles were cooked, the two men had a big appetite and the food was finished. Su Qing-sang didn't expect Zhang Yiqian to be so careless. There was still some food left, but he finished it. It was good that he didn't waste food. After cleaning up, she found that Zhang Yiqian was still there. She couldn't help but look at Hua Jinyao. Uncle said he was going to stay in a hotel. It's so late, so I suggested that he stay here for the night. There are empty rooms anyway. What do you think, wife? It's so late. We don't need to stay in a hotel. Su Qing-sang nodded and said, I'll go get some toiletries. She went to get them while she was talking. There was a special storage room for these things. When she came out, Zhang Yiqian was already in the guest room. Hua Jinyao offered to help him with the quilt, but he refused. He was from the army, so he was much faster than Hua Jinyao and the others when it came to housework. It was done in a few seconds. Su Qing-sang watched as Zhang Yiqian quickly put the quilt back on. Not only that, but he also folded a piece of tofu. Uncle is good, isn't he? Hua Jinyao gave a thumbs up and said, Mrs. Qing, Do you think this tofu is flat? Yes, he is good. Su Qing-sang didn't mean anything else when she said that. She was just echoing Hua Jinyao's words. I can do it too. I can fold it for you when I get back to my room. Hua Jinyao immediately realized that he was jealous. He put his arms around Su Qing-sang's waist, looking like a child asking for candy. Su Qing-sang didn't want to talk to him anymore. He was so childish, and his uncle was here. He wasn't afraid of being laughed at. Wife, you don't believe me? Hua Jinyao didn't get the praise he expected, so he pulled Su Qing-sang's arm. I believe you. I believe you, okay? Su Qing-sang's tone was coaxing. Hua Jinyao couldn't stand her perfunctory attitude. Why don't you praise me then? For a moment, Su Qing-sang felt that Zhang Yiqin seemed to be holding back something. But he held back. Su Qing-sang looked at Hua Jinyao. Look, he was about to laugh at him. Okay, let's go back to our room. No, you haven't praised me yet. Hua Jinyao hugged her and insisted on a compliment. Zhang Yiqin's face darkened even more. Su Qing-sang glared at Hua Jinyao. I know. You're good too. My husband is the best. Okay. Su Qing-sang said it casually, but Hua Jinyao was satisfied. He didn't care that Zhang Yiqin was next to him. He leaned over and kissed her. Honey, you're so good. He liked to show off his affection in public, but Su Qing-sang didn't like it, especially when Zhang Yiqin was staring at her. She felt more and more uncomfortable. She gently pushed him away and handed the towel and toothbrush to Zhang Yiqin. Thank you. Zhang Yiqin took it and looked at her face, which had turned a little red because of Hua Jinyao's kiss. Calmly, he looked away. It's getting late. Uncle, go to bed early. I'm going back to my room with Qing-sang. Okay. Zhang Yiqin nodded and watched Hua Jinyao and Su Qing-sang leave the room. He didn't go to bed right after they left. He closed the door and stood at the door where Su Qing-sang had been standing. Zhang Yiqin clenched his fists, thinking of Hua Jinyao's love behavior. His eyes darkened, and all the romantic thoughts were thrown away by him. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.